What is going on, y'all?
Hello.
Welcome to the Thursday stream. We're starting off today possibly with some more technical difficulties.
Our favorite word.
It's become our calling card. So there you go. Hopefully we can address it soon.
But is it your laptop or is it the stream?
Well, now it's both.
Oh, good, great, awesome.
Now it's both. The
Awesome.
stream looks to be laggy.
Damn,
and
man.
you guys will have to let us know how the stream's looking right now. But to me, right now, the stream looks laggy, and for some reason, my laptop is not registering that I have it plugged in to the power cord right now. So life is working great. What's going on though? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thirsty Thurs. Happy schedule release day.
Yeah, that was so annoying. The past 48 hours has been annoying.
Why is that?
With respect to these leaks that come out with the schedules, because some beat reporter will release a tidbit like week 1. It looks like it's gonna be Rams Bills. Watch out.
Right.
And then they'll delete it. So you're not quite sure if either that's true information and they deleted it, or that's false information and they deleted it because it was false. But it could be they deleted it because it was true and the NFL got on their ass and told them, hey, take that off. We haven't
confirmed anything yet.
Yeah. So the past 24, 48, 72 hours, I've just, like, my phone's been buzzing every 30 minutes with a new stupid alert like that. And I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe.
People love the opportunity for clicks, views, clout, all that good stuff.
It's about getting the information first, not getting the right information.
Right. It's a scary reminder when it comes to social media that you can't believe anything you see the first time, especially if it's not a verified source.
And even if it is a verified source,
they get it wrong too. Yeah, they get it wrong too.
They get it wrong too.
At least there's it's a little more likely it's correct from them, as opposed to just like the Twitter handle called NFL Schedule Leaks. You know, that accumulates 10,000 follows.
Spelled with 2 L's because there's already an NFL Schedule Leak out there.
And they put a little white dot next to their name to like mask the fact that they don't have the check mark, but they're trying to dupe you. Yeah,
Elon's gonna get rid of that real quick.
I hope he does. Then that's like, okay, I'm in favor of. Yeah, he can buy all the Twitter. That being said, yeah, you just got to be careful. Don't believe anything until it's like it's actually happening.
What's going on, Will?
You know, when the NFL actually releases the schedule, then you know for sure. What's going on, Will? But yeah, there's a lot of unverified stuff with the NFL schedule.
At least with this,
we'll all find out tonight.
At least with the schedule information that's been coming out from people that we trust historically.
Right.
The information has been solid. But my issue with, and this is a larger issue with the Ian Rappaports and the Adam Schefters, is specifically with when they announce a signing of a highly touted player.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll throw the entire contract out there without any real nuance to the situation. Like, Von Miller, $100 and something million contract, 6 year, 160. You know that's not what it is.
They give you the full scope and the guaranteed money, but it's not. It doesn't talk about the nitty gritty details about how, like, this is a 6-year deal.
Hold on a sec. I'm getting a call. Give me a sec. Keep talking.
Okay. I think what you were alluding to, it's like it's a 3-year deal disguised as a 6-year deal, and there's guaranteed money involved, but no player actually ever sees the amount of money that is actually reported. It's just the way the NFL does business. The guaranteed money is what actually matters, and that does get reported. So there is some legitimacy to those reports. Regardless, I mean, we're going down a rabbit hole. As it pertains to the schedule, wait until the NFL actually releases it, and then we can all make our plans about which games we're going to try to go to this year. What's going on, Slim? We're keeping this open. John had the idea of talking about doing the division by division breakdown. And we did just get confirmation from the first Sunday night game of the season will be the Cowboys against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this is legit. Sleeper did just tweet this out, or that was a notification from Sleeper. So Bucs Cowboys Sunday night. Those teams also met as the opening game last year when the Bucs opened the season as the defending Super Bowl champions. So an opening night rematch, or another opening night schedule of those two teams. I don't see who will be hosting that game. Oh, it'll be in Tampa Bay. Sorry.
All right, I'm back. No. Sorry about that, y'all.
You're fine.
Slim, what's happening?
Just some legitimate confirmations about some games. The first Sunday night football game of the year will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Those teams opened the season last year. Now they will open the Sunday night schedule this year. And it looks like the Kansas City Chiefs will have their first game on the road against Arizona. So we are starting to get some legitimate leaks of the NFL schedule. Again, we will learn the full slate in about 2 hours. Teams are allowed to announce their opening.
Probably we might be on stream. We might be shutting down around the time when you guys get that information. But you'll have it by the end of the night. You'll have it by.
We might have to stick around a bit longer tonight. The one as far as opening week, the one I'm most curious about is who are the Rams going to host, because that's the literal first game. Oh, it is confirmed. It will be Bills-Rams.
Bills-Rams.
So there you go.
Okay.
Your Buffalo Bills are playing week 1.
See, I had heard earlier today on Buffalo Sports Radio that it was going to be a Miami Bills versus Miami. So, see?
Yeah.
As early as 45 minutes ago, I heard from Bills Radio that it was going to be Miami Buffalo. And this is like stupid. It's stupid. But hey, at least we got the information out.
This is official confirmation. These are verified sources around the NFL. It is a verified Twitter account. I believe the NFL runs this Twitter account. They have 800,000 followers. It's a legitimate source. Bills-Rams will be the opening game.
All bots.
Twitter bots paid for. The NFL pays for follows. I don't think they need to do that. But it looks to be all but confirmed. The Rams will begin their Super Bowl title defense week 1, the opening night, that Thursday night. I think it's September 8th.
Von Miller revenge game.
Von Miller revenge game. Any other Rams-Bills connections there? Robert Woods isn't on the Rams anymore. Yeah. He's not on the team anymore. Well, we're all looking for that revenge game narrative. Everybody loves those.
I don't think there are many others.
No, I don't think so. It's the Von Miller revenge game. So the Bills defense is going to have.
Josh Allen versus Jalen Ramsey is always fun because of, if you remember, when Jalen Ramsey was drafted and Josh Allen were drafted, there was a lot of trash talk going on between the two, and Josh Allen has gotten the better of Jalen Ramsey pretty much throughout their career.
He proved him pretty damn wrong.
On this team, on this Rams team, it could be more of a more of a an actual battle. So
Yep. So that'll be a fun
Slim,
opening.
What's going on? What's going on, Iron? Will, are you done patting yourself on the back for your trading back in the draft?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Not AFC North related, but I've been hearing a lot of CMC to Buffalo news lately.
I haven't seen that.
I hope not, and I haven't heard that either.
I haven't seen that.
It would be really stupid of a team to draft a running back in the second round and then trade assets, what would likely be a first or a second round pick, to get a 25-year-old aging running back who is no longer considered a bona fide sure thing workhorse in the league due to injuries over the last 2 to 3 seasons. That narrative just doesn't add up.
I would think if this, and I don't know how much any legs this has, but I would think Cook goes in the deal, where it's almost like maybe the Panthers were eyeballing him in the draft or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know. It
would have to be something like that, and I just don't see it happening. I haven't heard any rumblings of that.
Do the Bills have the cap room to absorb whatever the cap hit? No. I mean, again,
cap is fake, but
cap is illusion. Yeah, cap.
I heard a lot of CMC to Buffalo news, like around Combine time, around Senior Bowl time. I heard a lot of that news. That was kind of the hot connection before people got hype on maybe Breece Hall's going to Buffalo. I heard a lot of CMC to Buffalo rumblings in January, February, March. I have not heard any of those rumblings lately. Doesn't mean that just because I haven't heard of them doesn't mean they're not real.
Right.
Slim, you're going to have to let me know where you heard that information, because that is interesting. Yes, James Cook, Christian McCaffrey swap could
Adam
be
Kaplan.
in play theoretically. Cap space. I don't see it, and it would just be a weird move organizationally to make. So I don't know about it, but
an unverified Twitter account. This is a report yesterday that the Bills reached out. Again, unverified Twitter account. I can't stress that enough. The Bills reached out to the Panthers about Christian McCaffrey, but we're told he is not available, and that is per Adam Kaplan, who is a verified source and is an NFL insider. He works for Sirius and Fox Sports and all that good stuff. I don't see a tweet from Adam about it. Maybe it was something that he reported on the radio at some point, but I'm going to go ahead and say right now maybe they contacted him they contacted the Panthers before the draft. Now he's not available.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think the Buffalo did at least call to see what's up, because
of course you do.
One
thing
diligence. Between Buffalo and Carolina is there are a lot of past relationships there. Sean McDermott from Carolina, Brandon Bean, I believe,
there's some
came up in
connections
Carolina.
There. There's some connections,
and there's been Carolina connections throughout Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean's time in Buffalo. There's been a lot of movement from poaching end of the roster wide receivers from that team to O-line movement and stuff like that. So it's an easy line to draw.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an easy dot to connect. But I don't know how true it is.
I would think for now.
Regardless, it would be interesting, and thanks for bringing it to our attention. If you hear any other crazy rumors like that, throw them in the chat. Let us know, bro.
Yeah, happy to talk about it.
And Iron, do you have any news on Judy?
The latest was, I posted this in the Discord as well, is it's a second-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer. This is a misdemeanor charge. It is not, misdemeanors are still serious, but it's not It's not like the most serious charge. It doesn't sound like, and again, we're still going to continue to get more information. I hate to, anytime something like domestic violence comes up, it sounds like it might be a he said, she said thing. The tampering seems to suggest there was a destruction or in tampering with property. Could be like a cell phone, could be something like that. Ultimately, does anything happen with Judy? Maybe like a 2-game suspension.
I don't even think that happens, bro.
I said maybe.
I don't even think that happens.
Maybe.
You remember when?
I think he's gonna be fine.
There's a lot of vague legal statements here. 2nd-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer.
Yeah, like what even is that?
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
But do you remember when LeSean McCoy, right after he got traded to the Bills, a few 4 or 5 years ago, whenever that was?
Yeah,
there was a weird domestic intrusion with chains and jewelry situation, altercation, whatever.
It was a baby mama situation, I think. Right. It was
involving some jewelry.
Yeah.
And I know that's not domestic violence, but there could have been some sort of spin on that.
Something else could have been going on.
We don't know what this situation is.
Right.
But until we see that Jerry Jeudy actually committed some sort of domestic violence act, and they clear up this legalese, I'm going to put it in that LeSean McCoy weird situation, but not going to amount to any NFL time lost camp. Because Shady just played. Everybody forgot about it, that whole situation, by week 4, and it cleared up on its own a year later. I'm not saying that's the exact timeline that this is going to take, but a lot needs to be cleared up here. And with that specific wording, if it was a clear-cut domestic violence charge, they would have said that. They have no news outlets have no problem saying that.
Right. It's domestic violence. This says domestic violence enhancer.
Right.
But criminal
2nd-degree criminal tampering with a domestic
criminal
violence
tampering
enhancer.
Is the first word.
What is that?
I don't know. I've never heard of this before. I don't know what a domestic violence enhancer. I think the key word here is tampering, which means he took a piece of property. My first thought goes to like a cell phone. Like that's my first thought. And he just he threw it, it broke, he destroyed it. So or something like that. Maybe there was an argument or something like that. There's a whole lot of gray area here. Ultimately, there's a lot of this is not clear cut right now.
I mean, maybe there was footage, and this is a lot of speculation here. So don't take my words as any sort of official statement here. But I mean, Jeudy tampered with some of his partner's property. That's the quote. So maybe there was some evidence of domestic violence on the phone, and he tampered with the phone, and that was caught by the other party, and then they reported that tampering to whatever. And that sounds like 2nd-degree criminal tampering with the domestic violence enhancer to me.
Yeah. Now,
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what any of that actually means, but I'm thinking maybe it's something like that. And even then, I don't know. So regardless, we're going to have to wait.
I think we need to table this conversation and wait to see how things play out. Ultimately, it doesn't sound like this is going to have super long lasting impact on playing time, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We typically don't speak.
I think we should table. I think we should just table this.
I mean, we didn't speak on regardless, we don't have to.
We'll find out. I mean, Iron, we'll
Yeah.
find out in the coming days or weeks.
And if something monumentous comes out of this, like Judy 6-game, 8-game suspension, year-long suspension, something crazy really comes of this, we'll do some content on it. We'll have a real discussion about it because it is important at that point. But right now, we really don't know anything, and what we do know, super vague, super cloudy.
Very vague.
Let's move.
I'll leave it at this. I wouldn't call this like a buy low situation because there's a lot of unknown.
No.
Let's just see what happens.
Use a nerd. Would you trade Miles Sanders in the 108 for Elliott and Hollywood Brown in Dynasty? Is it the 108? I mean, it has to be the 108 this year. Is it in Superflex or not?
It's got to be.
Superflex or not?
My first thought is no.
I really don't like Elliott back.
Yeah, I don't want to take on Zeke unless it's like I have the best. The only reason I'm taking on Zeke is if I have the clear-cut best team in the league, and it's like I could use an RB1 to a stable of backs that I already feel strongly about. He's gonna beef up my depth, and to the point where it's like I could probably make him a starter even with a really strong team, and I'm going for it. And I don't really think that there's another team in my league that can challenge me for a championship run, maybe one or two other teams. That's it. I don't want Elliott. He's close to the end. He's close. He's very
now,
close to the end.
Now, would you do the 108 for Hollywood Brown straight up and keep Miles Sanders? Because then we're under the impression you're keeping the better running back, at least for 2022, 2023.
Or just the younger one.
Younger is what, yeah, right. And Miles Sanders could be going to another team as soon as 2023 if the Eagles don't re-sign him, because this is the last year of his deal, and he could be going to a much more fantasy-friendly situation next season. He could go to a similar situation and just be in a committee, but he could go to a situation where he's looked at by the coaching staff as more of a 1A than a committee back, three-headed committee back type guy. So would you do 108 for Hollywood Brown?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if the Hollywood Brown person would do that. It seems like the Hollywood Brown person, I don't know what exactly they're thinking, but they might just be trying to get rid of Elliott.
Yeah.
I don't want Zeke, like point blank. Does he still threaten to be an RB1 this year? Sure. Is this last year? I'd be willing to bet that as well.
You're probably not going to be able to. And the thing about it is, if you buy him, he's dying on your team. Like you're not going to be able to get rid of Zeke if you buy him and hold him for all of 2022, which should be the last RB1 season.
I mean, unless he explodes this year, which I guess he could, but now you're going to be talking about, he's still going to be over 1,800 career carries. It's like there's 3 new offensive linemen in Dallas this year, so like there's got to be some gelling and cohesion there that still needs to develop in training camp. We expect the Cowboys to have a good offensive line once again. They have a good offensive line seemingly every year. But there's a lot of new pieces. Travis Frederick is gone. Lyle Collins is gone. There's another name who I'm off the top of my head is gone. I think Zach Martin is still there. Am I remembering that correctly?
I mean, regardless,
Zach Martin is still there, and he's excellent.
Yes, the O-line is good, but we already know that Tony Pollard is a better running back than Zeke. We already know that. And Zeke is, 27 now? We don't want Zeke. Bottom line, we don't want Zeke.
Yeah, I don't want Zeke.
Nick and I would probably be okay with trading 108 for Hollywood Brown. Because at 108, you're really expecting to get, whoever falls out of
Christian Watson or Sky Moore.
Yeah, one of those guys. And you're hoping, really, that one of those guys, that they turn into more than Hollywood Brown. But there's a chance that both of them turn into lesser than Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
There is a chance for that.
108 for Hollywood Brown, I would do.
If you look at Arizona right now, DeAndre Hopkins out for half of a year. Plus, he could be cut after this year. He could be cut after this year. If after this year, they can save $19.4 $19,450,000 on the cap by cutting DeAndre Hopkins before the 2023 season. And Marquise Brown is under contract through the 2023 season, and there's a chance that, considering the team went out and traded for him,
traded a first-round pick for him,
they would re-sign him. He's 24 right now, will be 25 when the season starts. Next year, he'll be 26 in 2023 with arguably no DeAndre Hopkins, because at that point in time, they will have to throw out a mega deal to Kyler Murray. And they will have this albatross of a contract for James Conner. So due to mismanagement of money on that team, and just because of DeAndre Hopkins resorting to PEDs and having this suspension in this, what really is a contract year for DeAndre Hopkins, considering the dead cap space that they can cut him for next year is like $1 million. They could save almost $20 million on the cap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Marquise Brown for in the 108, I would see if I could do that. Hold on to Miles Sanders, but I would absolutely see if you can trade that 108 for Hollywood Brown.
You getting that good astrological connection too.
Slim got it for us.
Yes, sir.
The chemistry between him and Kyler is astronomical. I see you. I see you.
Feast.
But yeah, man, use inert. See if you can trade 108 for Hollywood.
Yeah, I would not look to acquire Elliott unless the only reason is I'm looking at my roster and I'm like, yeah, my team is head and shoulders above everybody else. Give me a guy who, yes, he's plodding along and close to the end, but he does have RB1 upside for one more year just based on workload. That's the only scenario.
Look at what else the Arizona Cardinals have to deal with. Not only will DeAndre Hopkins save $20 million off the cap if they cut him before the 2023 season, AJ Green, I mean, yes, he projects to be their number 2 receiver, but he's 33. He's going to be 34 this year. He will be 35 in 2023. So, yeah, they could keep him around if they really wanted to, and if he finds a way to still be effective. But
they could bring Hopkins back on a restructured deal if he wants. If there's mutual interest there,
they could. I'm not going to rule that out. But if you could have a depth chart that looks like Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore, and rookie as soon as next year.
Yeah, unless or free agent signing. Yeah, something like
Zach
that.
Ertz leaves, Trey McBride steps up, James Conner's there.
Yep.
Like, yeah, man, yeah. I mean, Hollywood. We should be doing a whole video on that. Why you should be
on
buying
Hollywood
right now.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, try that out. Use inert. And Iron. Hey, if is Hunter in here? Hunter Rappaport, you in here? He would know for sure.
He's texting with his sources.
He's got a check mark.
Yeah, he's texting his sources. Rojo, what's going on? Oh, he declined this offer already. He got offered Jameson Williams and a 3rd-round pick for next year's first, and he declined it.
Yeah,
that's fine. It looks fair enough. Obviously, Jameson is high risk, high reward right now. The 23 first is the safer asset that we feel better about, that we feel good about. Like there's a good chance. Obviously, nothing's 100%, but we feel good about its chances of hitting, regardless of where it ends up. I like JMO's upside. I like JMO's upside, but let's see how he does.
You
first.
Should not be selling JMO now.
He would be acquiring. Rojo would be acquiring him, but he declined it.
Oh,
he would be giving up the 23 first.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I read that.
I think it's a fair offer. I'm okay with declining it though, because again, we feel okay that the 23 first will. Again, we can't predict anything, but we feel good that the 23 first will be will be a good asset.
JMO will be fully healthy, coming off of probably at least a 6-game stretch where he played for the Detroit Lions, so he got his feet wet. DJ Chark will most likely not be on the team, and he will be the sole field stretcher out there unless they draft somebody else, and they're going to be going quarterback next year.
Yep.
So
that's
you
true.
might
the
be
long
able
term.
to. You might be able to read if you want to play this. If you want to play it this way, do this trade or something along these lines. Maybe see it since you declined. See if you can get a little bit more out of that JMO owner. Acquire JMO. Acquire those late 23 picks. Next year, when DJ Chark is not re-signed there, and that we find out which quarterback is going to the Detroit Lions, because we would speculate it's going to be one of CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, right? They're going to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks. Their team is still not phenomenal, and the moves they made in the draft this year are kind of postponed moves. Like, we know that JMO isn't going to be there for half the year.
Nice. He keeps saying he's planning to be ready by training camp. Obviously, that's words out of a receiver's mouth who wants to play. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's fair to expect him to play a full role week 1.
If you want to play that game, acquire JMO plus the late 2023 picks. Next year, sell JMO for a 2023 pick plus. See if you can work in something like that. If you want to play that game, I understand not wanting to play that game now.
Unless JMO pops this year, which
and then you could get 2023
by week 8 or 9 he could,
and then you could get the 23 first plus.
Yeah,
and sell him on. Look, the quarterback upgrade is going to be real. So
here comes.
It's a fine
also
line
at that
to walk.
time, if you have him on your roster, you might just be like, well, now I just want to keep him because he's that good.
It's a fine line to walk, but I mean, you could really go either way, and I would be happy going either way here.
If you declined it, that's fine. I mean, if you want to hold the 23 first, I understand. We've been pumping those picks up. I do like JMO's upside, though. But obviously the floor is
and slim.
Low.
I think that would be Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
I believe Mark Ingram is still signed through
he's still on the team. I'll triple check this, but pretty sure he's still on the team.
So it would be Mark Ingram. And then it would probably be either Tony Jones Jr. or Nick's boy, Abram Smith.
Oh, they did put Abram Smith on the depth chart. The last time I checked, he wasn't on there.
So
but he's fourth.
If Kamara doesn't play, it would be Tony Jones, Abram Smith.
Yeah.
Dwayne Washington is a big
today
whole lot
for
of
now,
nothing.
yeah.
I don't. Dwayne Washington is a special teamer.
Yeah. No, it would be Ingram, but also Ingram is what, 32 at this point? 33? How old is Mark Ingram? Yeah, he's 32. He'll be 30. I was right. He's 32 now. He'll be 33 in December. So, I mean, Ingram's not going to carry the load.
Tell that to Frank Gore. Ingram could carry the load, bro. With this team, Ingram could carry the load.
I mean, I could see him getting like 70% of the backfield work.
That would
I don't know
be
if
carrying the load, bro. That would be. How many backs get 70%?
Yeah. All right. So maybe so honestly, so all right. Maybe like 60%.
Even then, cool.
Yeah, he would be the 1A. He would be the guy who would be leading the charge in the backfield. But those other guys are going to mix in. I know Tony Jones didn't exactly light the world on fire, but. I mean, Mark Ingram, he's Ingram. I know that this is like a familiar territory with it. He spent a lot of his career with the Saints, but he's 32.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Mark Ingram. It's just like eventually those tires wear out.
Yeah, but look at the depth chart behind him. Yeah.
I understand. I get it.
For me, it would be Ingram. And I don't think Kamara has to sit for a full season, so I don't think we should have to worry about durability issues for Mark Ingram over the course of 6 games, 8 games if he has to sit that, or if Kamara has to sit that long.
Yeah.
If Kamara has to sit 6-8 games, I think that Ingram can take a full, pretty heavy full workload for 6 to 8 games. I think that's fine. For a full season, 17 games, no. But for 6, games, 5 games, 6 games. Yeah.
He'll be the guy. Yeah. I mean, those other guys will get opportunities here and there, but no, I'm not expecting Kamara to miss more than half a season or more than 6 games. But we are expecting some type of penalty.
And Slim offering a 23 first for AJ Dillon.
I don't hate it.
That's the price. I do kind of hate it.
I don't hate it. I mean, Dillon's good.
Dillon's good, but Dillon's one of those guys where like the owner isn't selling unless it's an overpay. So you're going to have to overpay to get him. And a 23 first, we've been over this before. I mean, you could have 5 backs in 2023 who we might like in 2023 more than AJ Dillon. I'm not saying that's a sure thing. It's a possibility, though. It's a possibility. I get that that's the asking price for AJ Dillon. I've tried to acquire AJ Dillon in every league that I'm in, and I backed off real quick because the owners valued him too much to be able to sell him for a price that I would be willing to buy him for. And a 23 first is right there.
I mean, could you sneak in, get a pick back? Slim, did you get something
unless
back?
Unless you were unless you won the league and you know for a fact that you have one of the top 2 teams in your league, 3 teams in your league, and you have a 80% chance as you see it to go to deep into the playoffs, maybe a championship. If you can almost guarantee that 23 first is going to be a late one, then yes. But unless outside of that, if you're a middling team, if you're a rebuild team, and even if you are a good team, you're just not sure if you're top 3 in the league, I don't know if I'd do it.
I would consider it. I would. Dillon took over in this Packers backfield last year as the leader in carries. Not overall touches, but carries. I believe the Packers running backs are going to be heavily utilized this year. I think they'll both be top 15 running backs this year. If you're a contender in general, if you can get something else in return, I agree that the 23 first is a steep asking price, but if you could get like a 2024 second or something, or a couple of thirds, I'm fine with doing the deal if you want to. I think Dillon is a player that is like where it's like I'm okay with signing off on that. That's me. I think highly of Dillon. I think he's going to be excellent.
I think really highly of Dillon too, and he's in a situation with Aaron Jones that is appealing from a future perspective if we're looking down the road for AJ Dillon.
Yeah. Yes,
my issue is that it's not a sure thing.
Neither's the pick.
It's not a sure thing. Green Bay, when was the last time that Green Bay had a workhorse? Now, I know what you're going to say. Hasn't mattered with with Aaron Jones. Hasn't mattered. He still found a way to be RB4 with a 50 to 60% workload. He still found a way to do that.
Yeah.
And we both like AJ Dillon a lot, but can AJ Dillon be RB4 on a 60% workload share?
I'm not expecting him to be a top 5 running back, but I do expect a high upside RB2 finish at worst from AJ Dillon this year. I think he's going to be damn good.
I know, it's just that 23 first could be a running back that has much less tread on his tires, comes in, goes to an equitable situation. I mean, that's my issue. It's not that AJ Dillon isn't good, and doesn't have future prospects. It's that you're giving up an asset that is at the run that right now. I mean, I'm gonna assume that 23 first would have been used on a running back at the running back position, where as soon as year 3, you're probably looking to trade the asset, and you're acquiring Dillon. I know he hasn't been utilized from the jump like other running backs, but you are going to be acquiring A.J. Dillon right before his third season. And just from... And that's tough for me. Because that's right when a lot of running backs, after that third season, kind of find themselves in trouble there. Now, if you bought Melvin Gordon in his third season and held him for his entire rest of his career, and you bought him for a first, then you're feeling pretty damn good about it. But there are a lot of running backs out there where if you bought them in their second year, you're not feeling that great about them in their fourth year. And to give up a 23 first in knowing what we know about that class, it's just tough for me. Is he worth a first? Is A.J. Dillon worth a first? Yes. Is he worth a 23 first?
I think it's close.
Up in the air.
It's close.
Without knowing the specifics on that pick and that team and that league, it's tough for me.
Slim, if you can ask for a pick back and get it, I think I'm more open to doing that deal. I think than John might be. I'm not worried about Dillon long term as like the fourth or fifth year. I think he's going to be just fine. Especially
from
if
his
Aaron
workload
Jones
in the
moves
past
on.
few seasons,
Especially if and when Aaron Jones moves on in the next couple of seasons, which it's ultimately going to happen at some point. Dillon then becomes the 1A. And from a carry perspective, again, not an overall touch perspective, but from a carry perspective, if last year was any indication, Dillon is already the 1A. I'm fine with he's like he says he's around a top 4 team, the number 4 team. He says I'm like the number 4 team, so like maybe number 4, maybe number 5, maybe on a good day number 3. If you can acquire Dillon and you feel like Dillon firmly puts you in the top 4 with upside for more, and you can get an asset back, because at the end of the day, May 2022, at the end of the day, you can still negotiate to get a 2023 first back from somebody else some other way, whether it's this person or somebody else. And if you feel like Dillon, if you feel like you're basically a contender, because if you're top 4 out of 10 or 12 teams, you're a contender, and Dillon boosts that for you, and if you can ask for a pick back and get it, I'm fine with doing the deal. I am.
If you can get a pick back, I'd feel better about it.
I would.
But if it is a straight up deal, it is very. It comes down to personal opinion, and I don't know if I could sway you either way personally.
Yeah.
But thank you for the question, Slim. You already know.
Yeah,
we haven't touched on the topic.
It prompts a good conversation where it's like.
Let's roll through some of these questions real quick and start talking about the topic that we teased in the thumb.
That might be taking a back seat, but that's okay.
Rojo,
I remember you made that trade.
It already has. Yeah, Rojo, I remember that trade.
I remember you made that trade. That's fine. If you're like, I'm top 3, my team is nice, I can compete for a championship, and you got Pollard on top of it, cool. Fine. I remember being good with the trade when you made it. I feel the same way now.
Yeah, you got the Zeke, who should be an RB1 this year, but you also got Pollard, who should keep you safe and in the RB1 for the Cowboys conversation into the future. So, cool with it.
Yep.
And the objective, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in.
Going on objective.
If you want a safe backup and you're looking at Pickett at the 206 in a 1QB league.
Kyler's tendency to miss games. He has missed games the past couple of years. Who are your current backups?
That's not too early for me.
No, it's fine.
That's right around the area where I would be looking at quarterback. Last year in a 1QB league, that is where Justin Fields and Trey Lance went.
Yeah.
And then Mac Jones went at the end of the second. And I believe Trevor Lawrence went 108. Now, with this class, you're obviously looking at much lesser talent. And But Pickett being the surest thing to start year one and the surest thing to have a long leash in the NFL, considering he wasn't a third-round pick, fourth-round pick, whatever. I'd be willing to take him at the 206. I'd be fine with that. It's between him and one of these running backs who could get replaced in a year. If you're really looking at your quarterback position as a weakness, considering you got Mitchell Trubisky and Jordan Love, who aren't startable quarterbacks, getting Pickett to pair with Mitchell to make sure that you have the starting quarterback for the Steelers this year is smart, just in case anything were to happen to Kyler Murray, who is one of the more injury-prone quarterbacks in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
So I don't hate that at all. I feel good about that. Rojo, Slim, you're on the fence on doing the same thing for A.J. Dillon?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so we gave our thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Go with your, I mean, at the end of the day, and I say this all the time, go with your gut.
And it changes things knowing that you are a contender and that this move will push you further towards contending. Right.
If you were saying I'm bottom 4, then maybe my tune is a little different. But if you're
bottom 4, I would say nah. Even if you're a middling team, and even after this move, you're looking at your team and you're like, that makes me better for the future. But right now, I'm still kind of a middling team. It would be real tough for me to
still probably no. Yeah. Then I'm like, yeah.
But see if you can get that pick back and let us know what happens. Rojo asking if I'm willing to do JMO for the 23 first straight up without the 3.
So you would be getting.
Wait, but you just got offered JMO in the 23 third for your first. So did you decline and the person came back saying they don't want to do the 2023 third? If you came back with less.
Yeah, if you came back with less.
Hardball.
Right, I can't say yes to an offer where I previously said no to an offer where I was getting more,
No, I like JMO as much as the next guy. But he was not my wide receiver 1 in this class. If he was the clear-cut wide receiver, if I had JMO as my clear-cut, without a doubt, wide receiver 1 in this class, and I was a contender, and somebody was trying to trade me JMO for my contender 23 first, I'd say yeah. But where did you get JMO in your draft, Rojo? You probably got him after the 4th, 5th, maybe pick. I don't know how far he fell.
Or he doesn't have JMO.
Well, where did he go, and where did you have him?
Yeah, where did he go? That would be helpful.
Sorry,
that would be helpful.
Mixing them up there, but I mean those type of things mean a lot when you're trying to make that distinction.
Yeah.
But no, I would go back to the owner and say, "No, bro, I'm not doing it for less. If I press decline, that's crazy." Get out of here.
Yeah. Now it's like give them to me for free.
And yeah, Slim, we agree. It's just we went over that. You got our thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I love the player. It's just tough. And don't worry about it, Kilo. Thank you for coming through.
Right now, all I'll say, and we did talk about this a little bit. You may have missed it at the top. I'll summarize. Don't panic. Don't panic yet. We're gonna get a lot more information about this. On the surface, it doesn't sound like something to get overly concerned about. Obviously, a legal situation could things can unfold. There's a lot to unpack here. There's going to be more information and details that come out in the coming days and weeks, but the charge doesn't sound so serious where it's like, get ready to start making backup plans, like
what
short
you should
or
be
long
doing
term.
Is if you have Tim Patrick in any of your leagues, you
should
put him on the block
right
now.
Patrick. Yeah.
And see what you can get for
sell it as he's Russ's new wide receiver too now.
Yeah, Judy's going to jail.
Who
wants Russ's number 2?
Yeah. Yeah, do that. If you have Tim Patrick, hell, even if you have KJ Hamler, who I like. But
And Slim, I didn't know that. They gave Abrams the highest contract among UDFAs. He may be the guy.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Abram Smith
Just a
to
little
the moon.
note to file away there. I like that. Thanks for letting us know that information. That's cool.
I have nothing to file away because I already picked him up as an undrafted free agent.
No, but for future vids, man, when we do the video on Abram Smith, man,
yeah, true.
We got to lead with that information. So
Yeah.
thanks, Slim.
True. We got to put that as a timestamp in the video.
Yeah.
Lots of money for Abram.
Now, considering we just had this huge conversation about a 23 first for AJ Dillon, and we did just have this 23 first for JMO situation, Garrett Wilson has a more stable quarterback situation. Plays in what I would consider a better offense than JMO does year one.
Yeah.
Might have more target competition.
Yeah.
But he was my wide receiver one.
Yeah, he was
just
mine
went
too.
over JMO. Was JMO your wide receiver one going in? JMO was my wide receiver one.
You mean Wilson?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson was my wide receiver one.
Yeah.
Would I give up a 23 first for Garrett Wilson, or would I rather have the 23 first over Garrett Wilson?
I'd rather have Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson is a bona fide top 5 pick in rookie drafts in both formats, and maybe is top 3 in both formats. The 23 first could land at the 106 or the 107. I'd rather have Wilson. Yeah. That's one of those where it's actually kind of easy for me. I would rather have Garrett Wilson. I think he's going to be excellent. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be really good. I like the landing spot.
Safest prospect in this class.
I like the landing spot. I think the
Olave.
Jets are on the up and up. I like their offense this year.
You like Zach Wilson more than I like Zach Wilson.
I like Zach Wilson.
But even with me not liking Zach Wilson as much as Nick likes Zach Wilson, I would still rather have Garrett Wilson over that 2023 first.
Yep.
And now, could I be kicking myself a year from now when that 2023 first could be Jackson Smith and Jigba or Keyshawn Butte, and they're on a higher profile offense, and maybe Zach Wilson hasn't fired the way Nick and I want to see him fire? Possibly, but
maybe
without knowing that information right now, I'd rather have Garrett Wilson. And Jerry Jeudy is not done, Alex. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, what's going on, Alex? Nah, he'll be fine. No reason to panic yet on Jeudy. I don't want to say he'll be fine. There's more to unpack, but ultimately he's not done.
And Slim, get that pick back.
Get that pick back, and then do the deal, and I'm good with it.
CXK with a good question here.
This one's tough.
Rashad Bateman or Garrett Wilson going forward?
So I like Bateman a lot. He's the ex-receiver for the Ravens now. That is without question. And we have been big proponents of and supporters of Lamar Jackson as far as he can throw the football. Anybody who, any Twitter idiot, who refers to Lamar Jackson as a quarterback who can't throw the ball, he's a running back playing quarterback, is just a troll. Lamar Jackson can throw the ball. He's accurate, and he can throw it deep. Rashad Bateman is in a better situation than I think people are giving him credit for. That being said, this is absolutely, without a doubt, a run-first offense. Whereas Garrett Wilson, I think the Jets are going to air it out a little bit this year. Because on top of Wilson, they have Elijah Moore and they have a healthy Corey Davis coming back. Plus, they brought in 2 pass-catching tight ends in Uzoma and Ty Conklin. This offense is going to throw the ball a little bit. I know they drafted Breece Hall, and we're high on Breece Hall as well. All he is the 101 in every rookie draft, regardless of format or scoring. But I think the Jets are going to air it out a little bit this year, especially if that defense continues to be a work in progress, which I think a lot of people expect it to be. I know they did well in the draft, the Jets did, but the defense is still a work in progress. The offense is going to be what I think is what makes them go this year. So I would say Garrett Wilson maybe is in the better scheme, but Rashad Bateman is without a doubt his team's number one wide receiver. Mark Andrews is maybe the number one passing option, but Bateman is the number one wide receiver by name, by position. And let's call a spade a spade. Lamar is a more proven quarterback than Zach Wilson is right now. I guess I would give a slight edge to Bateman, but it's close. It's close.
And from a talent perspective, it's pretty even. Pretty even.
Yeah,
I would have him ranked.
I think so.
I mean, almost. I mean, maybe back to back. I mean, and a lot of people went ahead of Bateman, and not a lot of receivers went ahead of Garrett Wilson. Did any? Garrett Wilson was the
Drake
first
London.
Drake London. Okay.
Drake London went 8. Wilson went 10. Bateman went in like the 20s. I think.
But looking at
27?
the numbers here, and I'm just looking at the numbers here. Rashad Bateman has a better breakout age. You know how we feel about breakout age, but he does. Better college target share.
It's not the tell-all, but yeah.
Better yards, college yards per route. Better college dominator. Now, that had a lot to do with Garrett Wilson playing with who he played with in college, but better college dominator rating. Same weight. Not same weight. Same height. Rashad Bateman is 6 pounds heavier. Rashad Bateman, also a first-round pick, was drafted 127 in 2021. He ran a 4.48. Garrett Wilson 4.38. So Garrett Wilson considerably faster, but
little quicker.
No knocks against the speed for Bateman. And Bateman did run a 4.43. We just prorated it to 4.48 because it was at his pro day. And if you're digging into the metrics, all of the metrics, Rashad Bateman has longer arms than Garrett Wilson. So, just looking at it,
he's like taller. He's bigger.
Bateman.
Bateman's like 6'1".
They're both 6 feet.
Wilson's more like 5'11".
They're both 6 feet, according to the information I'm looking at.
Okay.
Both 6 feet.
I'll give a smidge to Bateman. Smidge. It's fluid.
I mean, you got to go Bateman here.
I give a slight edge.
You got to go Bateman here. If you're looking at
to Bateman.
The prospects side by side in a vacuum without any other information, you would probably say, just looking at the metrics, Bateman is a slightly better prospect than Garrett Wilson. Now, a lot of that, leaves out context. But then you factor in that Garrett Wilson is playing with one of the better rookies from last year, Elijah Moore, and playing with a quarterback that is super unproven in Zach Wilson. And they did invest in the run game heavily over the past 2 seasons. And just a myriad of other issues there. Bateman, it seems like they took away all his competition.
They traded Hollywood. Sammy Watkins is gone.
So I think it's crazy to say this, but Rashad Bateman over Garrett Wilson.
No, it's not crazy.
For 2022. For now, and they are only a year apart. It's not like one was a old rookie coming in and one's super young. Garrett Wilson's 21.8 or something, and Rashad Bateman's 22.4. So both real close in age. I gotta go Rashad. We've seen him in the NFL, and we know that he's not gonna shit himself in the NFL.
No,
we don't we're not predicting that for Garrett Wilson. We don't technically know that yet for Garrett Wilson, but we know that the team saw enough from what Rashad Bateman did in year 1 to be like, screw it, let's trade away and throw away a lot of our other wide receivers, and just hyper target Bateman as the one out there. Gotta go Bateman. And that's crazy to say, because I really like Garrett Wilson, but
no, it's not crazy. I agree, but
I
say slight edge, and it's a testament to both of them. I think they're both going to be really good.
I never thought I'd be this high on or Rashad Bateman.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I really liked Rashad Bateman. I never thought I would be as high as I currently am on Rashad Bateman.
Well, the NFL likes to keep us on our toes now because they're making trades during the offseason.
Absolutely. So yeah, CXK, Rashad Bateman.
Slight
especially
edge to
in
Bateman.
PPR because Rashad Bateman should get peppered with targets.
She'll get a ton of targets.
Yeah.
And again, the Ravens don't throw to running backs. They can throw to their wide receivers and their tight ends. Bateman's going to eat.
Iron, thoughts on your rookie draft? You came out with Kenneth Walker, Jameson Williams, Jalen Tolbert, Jelani Woods, my boy, and Khalil Shakir. I like
It's
that.
an automatic
I like
A
that
plus
draft
from
a lot, bro.
It's an automatic A plus from John just on the Jelani Woods pick alone.
No, man, just as a whole, I like that draft a lot.
No, it's good. You got Walker at the 102. I remember Iron also had the 104, so you're swinging for the fences on JMO. I love swinging for the fences.
Who went 103? Just out of curiosity, was it Garrett?
Yeah, was it Wilson? Had to have been, or Burks. Could have been Burks.
Could have been Burks.
No, it wasn't Burks. I think Burks was available, and he went JMO over Burks.
Okay,
which I'm fine with personally. Probably it was Wilson, or maybe it could have been London. No, it couldn't have been London because then I would have been saying take Wilson. I don't know. Either way, I'm good with it.
Yeah,
I like
that
Jalen
draft is
Tolbert's
nice.
prospects in a Cowboys offense that has shown they can throw the ball. Jelani Woods is a long-term prospect that we're all very high on, and Khalil Shakir. I mean, you want to talk about damn good landing spots? There aren't too many others that are better.
There's no reason Khalil Shakir should have lasted until the 5th round. That is we're gonna be looking back, and I would put money on Shakir looking like a steal in the 5th round.
Or was it like did you have extra thirds, or was that a 4th round pick? Either way.
No, I mean in the NFL draft, Shakir.
Oh, the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, you probably got Shakir in the late, or in the third, mid to early to mid,
late third,
to
late third, early
something like
4th. Yeah. No, good draft.
Yep.
Slim, I don't know. I don't know. I felt really confident that the Sixers had the momentum going into Game 5 after winning two. They'd won 2 straight at home. Embiid was back. I thought they had some momentum going into Game 5, and then Miami said, "That's cool. Watch this," and boat raced them, mopped the floor with them. I want to say the Sixers respond tonight at home, but ultimately now I'm starting to think that this team just doesn't quite have enough. And even if they do win tonight and force a Game 7, Miami will take it. Ultimately. But hey, you gotta give Embiid his props. He's playing out there with a broken face and torn ligaments in his thumb. You might not like him, but you can't question the toughness. We'll see. I hope they win. I'm not holding my breath.
Fair enough. And I have no skin in the game. I'm just hoping the Bucks walk away from the Celtics with a win when they play next.
Same. That I do have skin in because I'm rooting against Boston.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the rule. If you're not from Boston, you root against Boston.
Yes, you root against Boston. That's the rule. Sorry, Boston fans.
I'm not. Not at all. Iron, there are 4 picks left. I'm thinking about trading your 2024 4th for the 407 and so you can pick up Calvin Austin.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I mentioned that in the Discord. I think Iron brought that up in the Discord. That's fine. A 2024
Who
4th.
else is there, bro? Because Nick and I were cool with you trading up the 2024 4th to get the 407. But is there anybody else there? Because Nick and I aren't super high on Calvin Austin.
I didn't see this other part. The Judy situation worries you. Well, here's the thing, Iron. Calvin Austin is not going to contribute this year.
No.
As probably anything more than a special teamer.
In the 4th round, you should not be looking wide receiver. In the 4th round, you should probably be looking to pick up one of those running backs.
Snoop.
And honestly, I would rather have
Abram Smith?
Justin Ross than Calvin Austin. I would rather have
I agree.
Bo Melton than Calvin Austin. I would rather have there are a couple of wide receivers if I would go wide receiver there in the late first, mid to late fourth. There are other wide receivers I'd rather have than Calvin Austin. That landing spot
Is
looks
Dubs
nice.
there? Is Romeo Dubs there?
Romeo Dubes.
I'm calling him Dubs. But yeah,
Possibly.
I agree. Ross I would prefer. Dubs I would prefer. Would you prefer like Tyquan Thornton if he's there? At that point, I think I would say
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Second
Fair
round.
Enough. Oh yeah.
Second round draft capital for the Patriots, who
capital.
only have Devontae Parker there, and Mac Jones throws the ball. Yeah, I'd rather have Tyquan Thornton. I'm not high on Tyquan Thornton, but he was a second round pick. I would much rather have second round pick in Tyquan Thornton. I would much rather have Velus Jones, who I've been I've hated on. I've hated on that pick, but he is going to be out there in 2 wide sets for the Chicago Bears. Calvin Austin, I don't know if he's ever going to be out there even in 4 wide sets. And Dubes went at 4.6. That's unfortunate. But Calvin Austin, I don't know if he's going to be there in 4 wide sets, because you got the top 2 in Deontay and Chase, and then you got Pickens. And then, I mean, there's a possibility that Calvin Austin works his way into that 4th receiver spot, but that could be Miles Boykin, who they just picked up and want to see what they can get out of. Maybe they were high on him when he was drafted and just didn't get him.
I think they grabbed him so he could tell them some secrets about the Ravens.
Possibly, but Calvin Austin seems to me like a Dree Archer, a Sammy Coates, who never played meaningful wide receiver snaps for the Steelers.
They have Anthony Miller too.
They have Anthony Miller too. Yeah, I love the landing spot for Calvin Austin. Without really digging into it, but maybe 4 years from now.
Three
that
years.
Speedy, small wide receiver has never been a receiver that the Steelers use. That's never been a type of receiver that they go after and heavily utilize.
Yeah.
Can you ever think of a speedy, small 5'8" wide receiver for the Steelers who did something? I can't think of one.
No.
I can't think of one. They like big, long wide receivers.
They have a history of I mean, the only little guy, quote unquote little guy, has been AB.
Yeah, Antonio Brown.
And now Deontay, but even Deontay's 5'10", so.
And AB was 5'10", but
Right.
I think Calvin Austin's 5'8".
No, he's 5'7".
5'7". Okay.
Yeah. Last I checked.
Yeah. Ford is there, Harris is there, Melton are there. I would take Ford, and I would take Ford. Jerome Ford has a chance to be the Cleveland Browns RB2 of the future.
Sure.
And I would take him in the 4th round. Yeah.
Y'all are gonna have to forgive me. I am throwing the Sixers game on in the background. I'll kill the volume though. But I promise you have my full and undivided attention. I need to stay locked in
until it starts, getting heated in that. Until the game really.
Is that a play on words?
Yes.
Heated.
Yes.
Miami heated.
I didn't mean it, but yes, retroactive play on words.
I did you a solid there.
Boom.
I don't know where this.
But yeah, Iron.
Anyway.
I would go Jerome Ford there. And Kilo, interesting. My league was lower on him. I got London at 102, and Wilson fell to me at 106. I did flip him for a 2023 earlier today. Okay. Hey,
so you acquired the 2023 first. All right.
Hey, yeah,
Wilson
if you're
fell to
loaded at
106.
wide receiver and you felt like you took that pick out of just Garrett Wilson's here, I'm going to take him, but that doesn't really fit with my team need, and you want to flip him for a 2023 third to see if you can get a shot at, a running back or a quarterback or something like that, no issues with that. But I also am not... I was willing to move these players or the picks before I drafted. But now that I know that I have these players on my team, I kind of want to see how they play out before I move them. That's just me. So if somebody turned around and offered me something for a player I just drafted in the 1st round, I would really have to look at it. But the fact that you have a total of 5 2023 firsts right now, Kilo, is phenomenal. and you should be set up for future success regardless of how Garrett Wilson turns out. But you did give away Wilson, who should be a good wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
But 5/20/2023 first, that's awesome.
I mean, you run awesome. The first round next year, so
I'm hoping to have a situation like that. I don't think I can pull it off. Not with that many.
That's a lot of firsts.
I currently have 3 right now. I don't know where I'm going to be picking up the next 2. I would have to do something like trading away Garrett Wilson, and I don't want to do that.
You're not ruling out somebody comes at you with an offer for one of those firsts that you can't refuse.
Hit me.
I don't know what that would be. I'm not alluding to anything. I have nothing in the works.
Offer me something, bro. I'm here.
I have nothing to offer you at the moment, but I'll take a look.
And Iron London went for the 103.
Oh, London went 103.
All
right. Okay. I mean, look, we like Wilson. We like Wilson. We like JMO. You can only have one. So it's like it's safe floor or high ceiling. But Wilson also has a good ceiling as well. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Or Burks.
And Burks,
you're never on London. We haven't been on London either. He's either going to make us look like idiots or geniuses.
He technically
there will
has
be no
the
in between.
Highest athletic ceiling out of any of these guys. When you look at the athletic traits and him being 6'5" and doing what he can do on the field, he technically does performing in college with Pittman and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the same team as him and Velus Jones. All bodes well for him. There are just things about him prospect-wise that remind us of J-Jaw, remind us of J-Jaw, N'Keal Harry, a couple of these guys. So, but he does have the highest upside out of anybody here. He just might also have the lowest floor.
It could be ugly year one. I would not be surprised, as much as I've been off London. You know, we talk a lot about maximizing value and striking while the iron is hot. I would not be surprised if by week 10 of the season, I'm advocating for buying Drake London, because I think the Falcons offense is going to struggle this year. It's going to be a weird offense. It's either going to be Mariota or Ritter. London's the wide receiver 1, I guess. Yeah, he has to be. The running backs are like a 5th round pick and a gadget player. And then there's Kyle Pitts. It's going to be a strange offense, and there's going to be some lumps taken this year. I think London is going to have probably going to have a blow up game here or two, or he's not going to do nothing over the course of his career. All he was the 8th overall pick in the draft. But if it's like pulling teeth for the first couple months of the season because the Falcons offense as a whole is just struggling and the London owner is not looking long term, I see a world where I'm advocating taking advantage of a buy low window that develops.
Then it becomes an opportunity cost issue. The issue with Drake London right now is that he is going ahead of a lot of these other wide receivers that we do like just as much, if not more than him, mostly more than him. So the opportunity cost doesn't match the value that we place on him. But next year, or 6 weeks into the season, I mean, with Matt Ryan last year, that Falcons team 6 weeks into the season had no wide receiver 1, even with Calvin Ridley on the team. Calvin Ridley was underperforming. Kyle Pitts hadn't quite fired yet. Cordell Patterson was the only thing that was working on that team.
Patterson was the only story
option on that team for fantasy, really, until outside of Pitts. Cordell Patterson. And that was with Matt Ryan, who we don't think he's fallen off a cliff yet. We think he might in the next 2 seasons, but he was still a top 12,
still a good quarterback
in terms of NFL arm and what he brings to the table from an NFL standpoint. Quarterback, fantasy quarterback, not so much. But
No.
NFL quarterback, still a top 12 NFL quarterback. Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota, far from a top 12 NFL arm or quarterback. We're not talking about fantasy here. I'm just talking about what the production that they can provide for their offense with their arm. Much less. Unless Desmond Ridder can come in and be the second coming of Mahomes, which we're not expecting. This offense is going to take a step back through the air. And last year, through the first 6 to 8 games, there was only one fantasy relevant player on that team. And he played a hybrid role, and his name was Cordarrelle Patterson. So 6 weeks into the season, we could see low output Drake London. And you could be throwing 2 seconds at somebody in 2023 to get him on your team. You could. And at that point, with that opportunity cost, I'd be saying, hell yeah, try that.
Yep. Agreed.
And my computer shut down because technical difficulties. But
shut down.
My laptop.
How are you still with us?
Laptop.
Oh.
The computer I was looking stuff up on. So now I have no frame of reference for any.
I can be eyes and ears if need be.
Yeah.
I can look stuff up. Just tell me what to punch into Google.
And Kilo, in your league, it went London, Burks, Walker, J-Mo, Wilson.
Okay. So Wilson slid a little bit, but it's not
Hall,
crazy
London,
to see that.
Burks,
A lot
Walker,
of these
J-Mo,
receivers,
Wilson.
all of these guys are getting lumped together. You know.
Well, and we predicted this. All the wide receivers that we liked, we knew we were going to lesser teams.
Yeah.
Because they weren't going to fall until, 15th, 16th, 17th, 20th pick in the draft, 25th pick in the draft. We knew these wide receivers, that wasn't happening for these wide receivers. Everybody knew the Jets were going to take a wide receiver. Everybody speculated the Falcons were going to take a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. We knew that a lot of the landing spots for these players were going to devalue these players. And that's what you get. You get Wilson and Jameson Williams being the last 2 wide receivers drafted of that list when we had them ranked first before we knew where their landing spots were. That just happens. Just happens. Happened last year, happened again this year. It's going to happen again next year. But that's why we pay attention throughout the whole offseason so that we know those things. We know that, oh, wow, look at these 2 wide receivers with bad landing spots. We know the talent is there. We're not scared off by it.
Right.
Iron, you were always between Burks and J-Mo and never on London. Yeah, a lot of people were there.
Yeah.
A lot of people were there, right there with you. I had the 103 and the 104.
You did.
And it went Breece Hall and then Drake London.
Yeah.
And I took Burks 103. Now the reason I did that was to have Garrett Wilson on the clock so I could try to move that pick and see if I could get a haul. It didn't end up happening. But I actually had Garrett Wilson ahead of Burks. But I don't hate Burks. I was never down on Burks.
No, I'm not down on Burks.
And he has probably the best situation in 2022 ahead of him out of all the wide receivers not named Chris Olave. With the whole Michael Thomas situation, the Kamara situation, Chris Olave's situation looks great right now. But outside of that, workload-wise, Treylon Burks is going to get work.
Yeah, he's going to get work. Treylon works.
Treylon works. I like it. But, yo, we talked about this. And, yo, our thumbnail and our title completely off. Completely off. We're not touching on that topic today. We might, hopefully we'll get to it next week. But considering we just speculated that Drake London might be able to be bought at a discount next year, And
Yeah.
we were both under the impression that Treylon Burks has a great year one situation ahead of him.
Yeah.
Would you be opposed to drafting Treylon Burks and then letting the first 6 weeks play out and then trading Treylon Burks for Drake London plus?
Yes. Yes, and it's I mean, and it's just a matter of like, do you believe in London's long-term quarterback prospects maybe looking better than Treylon Burks's? Because right now Treylon Burks has Ryan Tannehill, and there's nobody questioning that Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback than either Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ridder. But as soon as next year, the Titans could cut Tannehill and save a bunch of money against the cap. And then they turn to Malik Willis, who, as excited as we were about the prospects of what would happen with Malik Willis in the draft, that all came crashing back to earth when he free fall slid to the third round.
I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about the fact that he's a running quarterback, run-first quarterback, who we're hoping has a better arm than Jalen Hurts, who we know. I mean, it's a questionable. It's a question, not questionable. It's a question whether or not he has an NFL arm. We know he has NFL plus legs, but
yeah,
an NFL arm, we're not sure. He still has to show that. Are we high on AJ Brown going from the Titans to the Eagles? No.
No.
Because it's a run-first quarterback with an arm that we're not sold on. I mean, we could say that is absolutely going to be the case for Treylon Burks in year 2, unless they draft a quarterback in the first round, which they could. But yeah, if Treylon Burks starts off hot, I might be trying to move Treylon Burks, considering what's coming, which is a very questionable arm talent.
Yeah, that's my concern. The long-term quarterback outlook for the Tennessee Titans.
But it wasn't that he fell to the third round for me.
Well,
he could have been drafted in the first round by the Titans.
But you naturally feel better about a player taken in the first round. Like, at least today, right now, several weeks removed from the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Because the only thing you have to go off of is the draft capital itself.
But he would have been taken in the first round on his legs, not on his arm talent.
Well, on his tools.
Yeah.
On all of his tools, the whole body of work.
But Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Ever since Trey Lance went to the San Francisco 49ers, we've been talking about their skill position players with the caveat that in the future, near future, they're going to have to be dealing with a lesser arm than Jimmy G's arm. That
Just
wasn't a guarantee, but that's
project.
Been the speculation that they're gonna be more run heavy. There's gonna be more of an emphasis on the quarterback's legs and less of an emphasis on the quarterback's arm in San Fran as soon as Trey Lance comes in. And the same thing can be said for Malik Willis, and that's what scares me. Yes, draft capital matters to a certain extent, but it almost doesn't for me in this situation because of how reliant the quarterback is going to be on his legs versus his arms as soon as he sees playing time.
Ultimately, the Falcons are in a better situation to get what we expect to be one of the better quarterback prospects of a much stronger class next year.
True. That as well.
And Drake London, therefore, his long-term outlook, it might be murky this year. But if the Falcons are drafting in the top 5 like we expect, they're going to get a quarterback. And that quarterback will start day one. And he will instantly be the best quarterback prospect between this year and next year.
True.
So that's why London's long-term outlook for me looks better than Treylon Burks. It's gross right now in Atlanta, but if they take the lumps that we all expect them to this year, because that roster has 2-3 wins written all over it, they will be getting their quarterback of the future next year. And then London, and for what it's worth, Kyle Pitts, long-term prospects go way up. Skyrocket.
So something to think about there with the wide receivers from this class that you can you can play some games with them. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry that Dubs went for 6 iron.
That's just blah.
Sucks. That just sucks.
Ross over Ford, sure.
It's a toss-up.
Right. I mean, at that point,
you'll know about Justin Ross quicker than you'll know about Ford.
Here's my thing, Iron, and this is the last thought about that I have, because at the end of the day, it is the 4th round, and you don't want to spend too much time worrying about it. But if you're worried, if you're thinking about taking a wide receiver because as it pertains to your concerns about Jerry Jeudy, you're not going to be getting a guy who's going to help you this year. You could stumble into a running back that helps you this year. Just that's all I'll say. If you're dead set on taking a wide receiver, then take your favorite wide receiver. But if you're worried about the Jerry Jeudy situation and you're looking for as many replacement opportunities as you can get, it's not likely coming from one of these guys available in the 4th round, at least this year.
What I'll say is I would pretty much always rather have the player that was drafted over the player that went undrafted to a good team.
Yeah. Yes.
Justin Ross, everybody is very high on for a couple of reasons that I can get down with. I'm high on Justin Ross too.
Yep.
Within reason, and that's the point I want to make here. Jerome Ford was drafted in the 5th round.
Yep.
He was identified in the 5th round, same round that Khalil Shakir went. To the Browns as a player that they can use. And right now, he opens the season as their number 3 running back, or at least in the battle for their number 3 running back position. All he needs is one injury ahead of him, theoretically, and he's going to see playing time. Justin Ross, he's got Sky Moore ahead of him, Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS. Who else is still there? Kelsey. But just from a wide receiver, perspective, there are. Mecole Hardman is still there. It's gonna take more for Justin Ross to see the field, and I don't know, bro. I'm almost like, no, it's not a toss-up for me. I would absolutely go Ford over Justin Ross.
Yeah. Like, again, you're more likely to stumble across a running back that'll help you this year than you are a wide receiver at that pick. And that's what it comes down to for me.
Draft capital matters in the 4th round to me. I'm not
going it does.
Undrafted free agent who went to my favorite landing spot, but is a subpar talent and has been judged as such by the NFL, over a guy that was drafted in the 5th round and has a chance to be the starter as soon as next year. And we've seen those reports as well. Justin Ross is getting a lot of fluff right now, a lot of hype right now. I like Justin Ross as a pickup as an undrafted free agent. If running backs that were drafted in the 5th round are there ahead of him, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm going the running back who was drafted in the 5th round.
What's up, Xavier?
What's going on, Xavier? How you doing, man? It's been a minute.
Yeah, long time no see. Hope everything's going well. We're pumped.
And
We're
the
ready.
objective, you're welcome. Thanks for the question.
Man. Thanks for as always. Thanks for stopping by.
Kilo, you got Chase, Metcalf, Waddle, Judy. Yeah, don't be worried about Judy, Kilo.
Or he didn't say he is.
Oh,
did he?
Who said he was worried about Judy?
Iron was worried about.
Okay.
That's why he's trying to figure out what to do with the 407.
All right, but regardless, the wide receiver core, Kilo, is great.
Yeah, man, you're good.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, end of story.
And Rojo, you were high on Shakir and Tolbert going into the rookie draft, but did not get an opportunity to draft them. What are some fair trades you guys think you could throw at the owners for those players?
It's tough because, I mean, right now everybody's going to have recency bias because they just drafted these guys, and now it's like these are my guys, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter that maybe Shakir got taken in the 3rd round. It would probably take more than a 2nd round pick to get him.
Right. You're going to have to, based on where they went in your draft, you're probably going to have to overpay. Probably. I would think.
And one thing I don't like, overpaying for question marks. It's not a good idea.
Right,
Getting
these guys
if you were able to
unknowns.
get Shakir and Tolbert at their draft value in the draft, that's one thing. But overpaying to get them on your team because you like them pre-draft and you want to get them on your team post-draft, depending on how much the overpay is, but overpaying for players that have not yet seen a snap in the NFL. I like Shakir a lot. Shakir might not see the field for the first 8 weeks.
Right.
I mean, look at how the team treated Gabe Davis over the past 2 seasons. He barely saw the field, and they kept on promoting veterans ahead of him. Now they locked up Steph Diggs. They got Gabe Davis. They brought in Jamison Crowder. They still have Dawson Knox. Like, I like Khalil Shakir, but now is not the time to go and get Khalil Shakir.
I mean, you could try to
waiting until week 3, week 4, week 5 when they haven't done anything. And then you can go to the owner and say, hey, look, I know you like the Bills. 5th round pick, though. Hasn't done anything through the first 4 weeks. You're not going to be able to use him this year. What's it going to take to get him? And then maybe you get him on a value compared to where the person drafted them got them. But I would not be paying up for question marks.
Agreed.
Tolbert's a little bit different of a situation because he was drafted earlier. And
yeah,
he is
what was he taken, like 88th overall, something like that?
He was taken in a higher,
76th,
and
something like that.
His spot on the depth chart will be higher. Little bit different of a situation, but even then, you're gonna have to pay up even more for Tolbert, possibly.
If you've got if you've got like a middling veteran on your team who is like depth at this point, and you're not, but it's like deep depth, like I don't know. If some middling veteran where it's like, I don't really expect to get anything out of this guy at this point. My depth is strong at this position. It's my, it's my RB6. It's my wide receiver 7 or 8. And, somebody wants to take a shot on the potential of him being more than what we expect of him right now. Like, okay, fine. But again, you're going to be in a situation where your league mates just drafted these guys. Now it's like, these are my guys. Because they drafted them. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to pry them away for what you're going to actually want to pay it. You're going to have to give up more than you want to.
I'm just looking to see if there's any news on any of these schedules being released yet.
Tyler Boyd. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, that would be fine.
I don't know if anybody's doing that. You'd probably still have to add a draft pick to it.
If you can pull that off, and you're like, I don't need Tyler Boyd. He's a middling vet, middling wide receiver 3 or 4.
He's old. I don't know if you're going to be able to sell him.
I mean, he's got a little bit of name recognition, but yeah, I mean, look, if you can do that, then do that. Yeah, it's like it's my thought process here is kind of twofold. Yeah, that's a good example of a name I was thinking of, but also at the same time, I drafted Jalen Tolbert in both of my rookie drafts so far. I wouldn't accept Tyler Boyd for him right now.
Yeah, you still need to give me the 2nd round pick on top of Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. Like, Tyler Boyd's a rock solid NFL player. He's been a solid contributor for the duration of his career. And you could almost sell Tyler Boyd as like, well, he might walk off, he might leave the Bengals eventually and go to a more prominent role at some point. But then at that point, he's 30. So.
No, I would hold Tyler Boyd because also Tyler Boyd was one injury away from being the number 2 wide receiver for Joe Burrow. And what you would sell him for on the trade market, you'd probably have to still throw too much at the owner to get a Jalen Tolbert or a Khalil Shakir right now. But let's say what I just speculated on happens early into the year and Tyler Boyd does become the number 2 wide receiver for the Bengals and Khalil Shakir isn't doing anything. Then you can say, hey, look, Tyler Boyd, he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver, and this is situational, but number 2 wide receiver for the Bengals. Let me get Jalen Tolbert plus. If Jalen Tolbert isn't doing anything. So basically, long story short, I would wait. Because rookies don't fire early into the season all the time, and you can usually pick them up week 3, week 4, week 5 for a discount. Happened with Cam Akers. Happened with it didn't happen with Jonathan Taylor, but I mean it happens with it happens with
Joe Mixon.
Happened with Joe Mixon. Yeah.
Joe Mixon Joe Mixon was a regular like 4th round pick in
these are running backs
redraft
about here. Wide receivers, it happens all the time.
Wide receivers is even a little bit more volatile.
So I would wait until one of those wide receivers doesn't fire immediately and then see what you can get for him.
Yep. Yeah. Wait for him to do something and then you can assess. Yep.
And Tyler Boyd I'd be holding just in case, because he's a great contender hold for me personally. If I have Tyler Boyd,
he's like a wide receiver.
What are you based off of what
6.
you could get for him? He's a stronger hold for me, just in case one of those other 2 wide receivers ahead of him misses time due to injury. Then he becomes almost like a mid-tier wide receiver too.
Is he enticing to trade if you get Jalen Tolbert and a second?
I would never. Nobody's giving me Jalen Tolbert in a second for Tyler Boyd before the season starts. Nobody.
Any Bengals fans in there?
Would you? If I had Tyler Boyd, would you be?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So no, we're not even going there. There. Did we miss anything? Yo, Xavier with the what's bracking. Where you from, bro? where you from, bro?
He's just fired up for the season, man.
No, I like it. Respect.
He's just fired up for the season.
I just want to know.
Yeah, no, I know. Bracken. I need to look up that. What is that? What's that like? What's the locale?
Well, Cali.
Oh, for real?
It's blood talk, bro. They put B's on everything instead of what's cracking. It's what's bracking. Because they can't have a C on it because that's Crips. So the Bloods put the B on it.
I'm learning things today.
There you go. What's bracking?
I'm with it.
Delonte Tucker, what's going on?
What's up, Delonte?
Marlon Mack ?
What about Marlon Mack? What does all this mean? I'm not even gonna finish the joke.
Yeah, don't say it.
What about him? I mean, he's gonna be the starter in Houston this year. Yeah, well, to start, yes. Yes. He will. I think he will. I know we like Dameon Pierce. What did we just talk about on Tuesday? Post-draft rookie hype correction.
Yeah, but we're talking about a Marlon Mack, though, bro.
Don't hate on Marlon Mack. He's been a good player prior to the what was it, like Achilles injury?
3 to 4 years ago, he was a good player. Yeah, in 2018 and 2019, he was a solid mid-tier RB2.
You're gonna make me go to the depth chart. I'll do it.
Look,
Not
yes,
depth
I'm
charts
sure,
I'm
sure he's number 1 right now. But does that matter much?
It is a.
If you can buy Marlon Mack for a
let's
fourth,
put it this way.
If you can buy Marlon Mack for a 4th round pick, go for it. That's like then because yeah, sure. But Marlon Mack, I'm not.
Let's put it this way.
I'm not putting a whole bunch of stock into Marlon Mack.
That's fine. Let me give it to you this way, though. Yes, Mack is at the top of the depth chart. Dameon Pierce is not second, though. He's 3rd. Rex Burkhead is 2nd. Just saying. It's, yes, I was about to caveat.
Bro, get out. No,
yeah, let me finish.
Don't tell me that Rex Burkhead is going to be the Texans' number 2 running back for the entire season with Dameon Pierce on it, bro. Like, nah. No.
The May depth chart has to be taken with a grain of salt. So I'm not disagreeing with you. However, it carries some weight. We have seen this before, where it's hard to believe how a team lists their depth chart, and yet it ends up playing out that way once the season actually starts. Teams do weird things. How many times during the season do we say NFL coaches do dumb shit? How many times? It's like once a week by the time we get to week 3. Now, not to say that starting Marlon Mack is quote unquote dumb shit, quoting myself, but Marlon Mack is gonna be the team's starter for at least the start of the season. Dameon Pierce is going to, again, who was a 4th round pick, is going to have to majorly impress all through training camp and all through the preseason just to leapfrog Rex Burkhead, in my opinion. Marlon Mack is a sneaky good 15th, 16th pick in best ball this year. That's all I'll say.
I'm not going to... Marlon Mack is going to be, at best, an RB3, a high-end RB3, which is still valuable for fantasy. But at best, high-end RB3, Delonte. I do not think he can be a good RB2 because they drafted Dameon Pierce. Yes, Rex Burkhead is still there. I'm not gonna entertain any.
I'm not worried about Burkhead.
Talk.
I just wanted to bring up the depth chart
Dameon
as
Pierce
it currently stands.
Should leapfrog Rex Burkhead with little to no effort. The issue will be, will he leapfrog Marlon Mack? Now, regardless of whether that happens, I just don't think that this team will be good enough to for Marlon Mack to maintain anything more than RB3 usage in fantasy. Last year, they Philip Lindsay was thought of to be possibly the running back there, and Philip Lindsay, coming off of Denver, was coming off of 2 very good RB2 finishes seasons with no injury issues. He goes to Houston, does nothing, splits work with Rex Burkhead, who also does nothing. Scotty Phillips got mixed in a little bit there. There was another running back there who got work too, and I forget who it is.
Other than Rex?
Yeah. Last year, and I'd look it
David
up.
Johnson?
Yeah. There you go, David Johnson. And the year before that on the Texans, I know we say a lot that it doesn't matter if a running back is on a bad team as long as he gets touches.
Doesn't matter.
The issue is this team loves committees, and this coaching staff specifically has moved since they moved away from Deshaun Watson, and that whole situation has moved towards committees at running back. When Deshaun Watson was on the team, Carlos Hyde was an RB1 for that team for a season, and David Johnson was an RB1 for that team for a season. But since those 2 running backs, and since those 2 years, in back-to-back seasons, and since Deshaun Watson left, they've gone to committees. You haven't been able to trust any one person in fantasy, and it's been a headache for the Texan RB fantasy owners. Marlon Mack, we don't even know if how effective he is coming off of his injury. We just know that he is now healthy from his injury. We don't know how effective he is healthy from his injury. This isn't a Donta Foreman situation where we've seen him on the Titans be almost as effective as Derrick Henry. We haven't seen that from Marlon Mack.
Well, last year he was, a healthy scratch because Jonathan Taylor burst onto the scene. The year before was when he tore the Achilles. So yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah,
Was it the Achilles?
Yes. It was an Achilles.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he only got a 2-year.
Regardless, I'm pretty much
$2 million contract.
Outside of getting the youngest guy in this backfield, I'm pretty much out.
I won't go far as to say he could be an RB2, but I think he can. He will be a high-end RB3. Yeah, I think he can be decent. I think he can be good depth for your team. I think he can be good valuable
If
depth.
you're relying on him
for
as
your
anything
team.
more than your RB5, you're in trouble.
Well, yeah, you're not draft. I mean, if we're I'll just pivot to redraft for the to paint a picture here. If you're drafting him before the 15th round, you probably something went wrong. So to that point, a 15th round pick should not be the positional fifth or sixth option.
I was talking in Dynasty. I wasn't talking.
Yeah, and I was like, let me correlate it to
talk
this
about
season.
Marlon Mack. I'm done.
I was correlating. Hold on a second.
I'm done. Delonte asks, you guys think Michael Pittman would be a high volume receiver this season with Matt Ryan? Absolutely.
Yes.
That will
should have a high end. But should be a high end wide receiver too this year.
I think he should have more. He should be more than that.
Should be high end wide receiver too. I guess what I'm leaving is I'm leaving wiggle room for more when I say should be.
And that was with Carson Wentz, and they replaced T.Y. Hilton with Alec Pierce. Who he was drafted high, got good draft capital. We're not we weren't super impressed by him and his profile coming out before the draft.
He's a big body receiver.
She was somebody that I was saying basically stay away from until you're in the late third, until he was drafted in the second round by Indianapolis, and then that pushed him up draft boards, and everybody was drafting him in the second round because he was drafted in the second round.
He was taken in the top 60, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Michael Pittman should be a low-end wide receiver 1 this year. Upgrade at quarterback, didn't upgrade really, in my opinion, at secondary wide receiver. They only got younger at secondary wide receiver.
Yeah, they got younger.
And even then, he's coming in year 1. Yes, we've seen year 1 wide receivers pop off, but they've been the Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Justin Jefferson level type wide receivers. That isn't going to be Alec Pierce. It's just not. No. Michael Pittman should be a low-end wide receiver 1 this year with possible mid-tier wide receiver 1 upside. I don't think he's going to be a high-end wide receiver 2. I think that's his floor.
I think there's a lot of... I don't doubt... This is not an indictment on Michael Pittman. I don't doubt that he could be a that he has the potential to be a wide receiver 1. There's a lot of names. There's a lot of damn good names that he's going to have to outperform. Right now, he's being drafted as the wide receiver 16. And I'll give you this. There are a couple guys who it's I would draft him over DJ Moore. We love DJ Moore. I would draft Pittman over DJ Moore. His situation is just better. But I don't think I can pencil him in as a low-end wide receiver 1 today. High-end wide receiver 2? Absolutely. I'm not trying to poo-poo Michael Pittman. Stop. Hold on. Let me go. Right now, the wide receiver is being drafted ahead of him. Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, A.J. Brown. That's the top 10. Then T. Higgins, Keenan Allen round out the top 12. Jalen Waddle, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman's the wide receiver 16 off the board. Ahead of DK Metcalf, ahead of Hollywood Brown, ahead of Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, all these other names. So he's definitely getting his flowers. There are people who are high on Michael Pittman from the perspective of, there are names that they are drafting ahead of him. There's a lot of really good wide receivers that are currently going off the board ahead of him, and for good reason.
I mean,
the only guy I could conceivably argue is DJ Moore.
List off that name, that
sure.
List one by one.
Cooper Kupp.
Okay, fine.
Justin Jefferson.
Okay, fine.
Jamar Chase.
Okay, fine.
Devontae Adams.
Yes, but we have to keep in mind that Devontae is going to be falling a little bit in value this year. But fine.
Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb. But fine.
Show me. Show me. No. Michael Pittman had just as good his year last year as CeeDee Lamb. And yeah, CeeDee Lamb doesn't have to deal with Amari Cooper anymore. And Michael Gallup's coming back, so I could see that. But I mean, Michael Pittman and CeeDee Lamb are a lot closer to me than you would. Okay, but fine. We'll put CeeDee Lamb in that group.
I know that the numbers
6.
were very similar, but I'd rather have CeeDee. Debo is 7.
Okay.
Then Tyreek.
Can't say that for certain.
I know the situation is worse.
I can't say that for certain.
It's Tyreek Hill.
I can't say that for certain.
Okay. We disagree there. Mike Evans.
I expect him to be ahead of Michael Pittman. Yes.
Yeah.
For this year. Yes.
AJ Brown.
No.
You might have an argument there.
No.
No? You
Pittman
say
over
no?
AJ Brown. Yep.
Okay. Pittman over AJ Brown.
Yep.
Fine. I won't argue that too much. And he was better than him last year too. T. Higgins.
Pittman over T. Higgins.
Okay. Keenan Allen.
Pittman over Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I can't go there. I can't do that. Jalen Waddle, you could convince me. Deontay outperformed Michael Pittman last year with a carcass as a quarterback.
I don't think Deontay should be down that far. Personally.
Okay.
But no, I would rather have Deontay than Pittman.
And then DJ Moore.
I'd rather have Pittman.
I'd rather have Pittman.
And that was top 12?
I just named 15 wide receivers.
Before?
You put him over AJ Brown. You put him over CeeDee. Well, you contested CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, I will concede CeeDee Lamb is ahead of Michael Pittman right now.
You maybe contested Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I can't go that far today. I'm not that ballsy. That's just me.
But Michael Pittman, my point being, Michael Pittman should finish wide receiver 11 or 12. Ahead of AJ Brown, ahead of DJ Moore.
T. Higgins.
That 13th spot is his floor to me.
I think that'll be around where he finishes. So yeah, high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1 upside. I like Michael Pittman. This is not me trying to be anti-Michael Pittman. It's just there's a lot of names here where it's like I can't.
I'm not calling Michael Pittman Julio Jones, but Matt Ryan got Julio Jones to top 6 consideration yearly for a period of 5 straight, 6 straight seasons. It's more than that, really.
Yeah. Julio's a different
And
animal.
now there's nobody there. It's not like when Julio was contending with Calvin Ridley. It's really Michael Pittman and nobody else. And they got to put 8 man in the box for Jonathan Taylor.
For Taylor, yeah.
And they got to put 3 safeties on Jelani Woods. So bro, Michael Pittman.
Now you're tripping.
Everybody should be talking about Michael Pittman a whole lot more.
Look, I like his chances, but I can't put him 13, 14, fine. I can't put him higher than that. But that's good. That's still good. That's still very.
He's 13 for me. He's 13 for me, and that's with me giving you CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek because I get it.
Yeah,
fine.
I'll put him around. I can look, and I can put him around there too. I can. Feel like we're yelling about the same thing. Our tones are just a little different. I like Michael Pittman a lot. He's going to have a damn good season. There's just a lot of names that I can't quite.
I'm still mad about your Marlon Mack love, but
you can take that one. You could stew on that.
Delonte, thank you for bringing up Michael Pittman though. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
he is one of my favorites this year, and yeah, I think he should be a wide receiver 1 by year's end. Absolutely.
There you go.
And there's Xavier with the teachable.
I learned things
now
today.
You know what bracket means, so thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
It's a Cali thing. You should know this, bro. You in Cali, you should know this.
I'm not
you
originally
ain't been walking
from
down
here.
the street and heard anybody say what's bracket.
I don't think so.
What is wrong with you, bro?
What's wrong with the people around me not saying it? Counterpoint.
Xavier, what do you guys think about Danny Gray and
TDP?
Chris? Oh, yeah.
TDP. We like TDP.
Yeah, I'm not factoring in Sermon at all with TDP. Actually, I mean, the
I
fact
think
that they drafted TDP as a course correction from Sermon should make you want to jump on that TDP bandwagon more.
Yeah. I think that was them. I think the TDP draft pick was twofold. It was admitting the mistake that was the Trey Sermon pick, and they're trying to take carries away from Debo's plate. It's twofold.
But Danny Gray, I like Danny Gray. There's no reason why he should be falling, or why he fell as far as he fell in the draft and in rookie drafts. Look at that depth chart. I mean, Debo's speculated to be going elsewhere. If you're following that line of thinking, then it's Ayuk, Kittle, and Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, Gray could be the third wide receiver, fourth leading target holder on this team. And if this team does not want to give a huge contract to Debo in the future, I mean, Danny Gray in 3 wide sets. Danny Gray in 2 wide sets. I like Danny Gray's future. It's not going to be a huge name right off the bat. And I know people do like Tay Martin. Slim, I see you. But yeah, I like Daniel Gray a lot, and we both like TDP.
Yep.
I mean, Tyrion, hand to the king. Let's go.
Got him.
Yo, so that's something that we talked about, Slim. We actually talked about that, and it was something that maybe we were gonna do on Thursday for the Thursday night games, because we, like today, have Thursday night streams. We don't stream on Monday, and our weekends are gonna be tough because we do stream on Saturday and we stream on Sunday morning. Before kickoff. So streaming any of the Sunday games would be tough.
That would be tough.
And obviously we can't show the stream on YouTube or we'd get copyright struck. So you would really just be looking at our faces, and then you have the game on TV and be watching it, and we'd be watching it on our TV, and maybe we'd interact about different things that are happening on Red Zone or whatever. But that's what it would be like. We have talked about that. If it's something that more people show interest in, possibly we'd be doing it for the Thursday night game. Maybe throw in more if it's a successful thing, but we'd be trying it out first with the Thursday night game, and that's something that we can talk about more as the season comes closer.
Real quick, not Mitchell, not TDP over Mitchell, Xavier. No. And I see Adrian's question. I just wanted to Mitchell's still the team's RB1.
Yes.
TDP eliminates Trey Sermon and takes Debo out of the backfield. Mitchell's still the team's RB1. Adrian, what's going on? Deontay, DJ Moore, or Mike Evans for the 2022 season? I guess the Michael Pittman conversation kind of gave us a conclusion on this. It's Mike Evans.
Deontay.
It's Mike Evans,
over
then Deontay,
Moore.
then
Yeah.
DJ Moore. But Evans is first. And it's simple. Chris Godwin's not going to be healthy to start the season. And Tom Brady is back. And the team did not add a wide receiver in the draft. Antonio Brown is off doing Antonio Brown shit. Mike Evans is going to get all the work he can handle.
Yeah.
Mike Evans is going to get a ton of work.
You got all the work he could handle last year. And imagine how much work he's going to get this year with no Godwin for half
With
the
no
year.
Godwin, yeah. Evans has never had less than 1,000 yards in the season for his career. I have no reason to believe that won't continue as he continues to polish off what I think is becoming a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, he's already there. It's not.
I think he might already
be
there.
Famer. He's a Hall of
yeah,
Famer. He has the one Super Bowl. He has the 8 straight years of 1,000 yard seasons
to start his career, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, dude, the dude's a Hall of Famer already.
He's money.
We need
He's
to
money in
shut
the bank.
That down. The dude's
He's
a Hall
money
of
in the
Famer.
bank. Then Deontay, then DJ Moore. We love DJ Moore, but he's got far and away the worst quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt Corral's the truth. We don't know.
Yeah,
But
and Mike Evans had a 16% target share last year, and was
still crushed it.
8th in fantasy points per
Still
game.
crushed
bro.
it. Yeah, he's a monster. He's a beast.
And he's going to get more of a target share this year because of Godwin.
He's a beast.
And they didn't replenish their wide receiver core at all to take any of it off of his plate. He's going to go ham in Tom Brady's last year. Mike Evans has a shot at top 3. Honestly. Honestly, he does, bro. He was 8 last year. He was 8 last year with Godwin and with AB for the majority of the year. He was 8.
Yeah. And now they're both gone. Well, Godwin's not gone, but he's not going to be healthy to start the season.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys that were ahead of that 8th ranked wide receiver finish are now on different teams, and while they should still be wide receiver ones, should be knocked down a peg or two. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. I mean, we could see a season in 2022 where Mike Evans finishes as a top 3 wide receiver over those guys. We could.
There you go.
But Xavier, any rookie running backs worth picking up or keeping an eye out for?
Is I this so in redraft, right? It's got to be or dynasty.
Yeah, let us know that distinction.
Yeah, like what format? What do you think? Like, because we could spend an hour on that.
Are you talking about at the end of drafts?
End of drafts,
UDFA types. Like what are you talking about here?
End of rookie draft pickups. Yeah, like what's the context of the question? Happy to answer it, but
and we are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we try.
Yeah. Top 5 rookie wide receiver projects this year. We'll answer this before we get to that. And you did speculate full PPR redraft, so we'll speak on both.
Okay.
Top 5 rookie wide receiver this year.
Projections this year. Well, probably Burks.
Dylon.
Got it. Probably Burks. Wilson.
Olave, for sure.
Yeah, Olave
possibly over Wilson this year.
Yeah, it could happen.
If the issues with Michael Thomas do extend into the 2022 season and Kamara isn't playing, Olave is going to have as big a workload as any of these rookie wide receivers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say those 3 for sure.
We have to see how, we have to see what happens with the health of Jamison Williams. Drake London's going to get a huge target share, but it might be a gross target share. Could be a lot of inaccurate throws.
Honestly, I'd go those top 3.
And I would put Dotson. It could be Dotson.
After those top 3, I would put Christian Watson and Sky Moore in there because the other ones that were drafted, even in the first round, are question marks. Huge question marks with workload, overall target share, how they fit into the offense, quarterbacks of their offense. I mean, would you put? I mean, people were drafting Sky Moore and Christian Watson ahead of Jahan Dotson and George Pickens and the like. So I would put those guys ahead of him. We saw Christian Watson get taken 405 or 105.
That was
in a super flex. That was crazy. But still,
that was a crazy pick by a beginner. So it's hard to put a lot of stock into that, but
it happened. But regardless, yeah, those top 3. And then I would say Sky Moore and Christian Watson ahead of any of the other guys drafted.
I don't know about Sky. Christian Watson, sure. There's not a ton of competition in Green Bay. Kansas City, there is.
Romeo Dubes.
Yeah, Dubs.
Right. Well, then who would you put over Sky? Excuse me. And I hope that serves you well, Iron. Good job.
It hinges on the health of Jamison Williams. If he plays even like 11 or 12 games, he could finish top 5 as far as rookies.
Okay. All right, and then what about
big if though?
What about
big
these
if.
running backs with respect to full PPR redraft?
Well, Brees Hall is the obvious one. I don't know where his ADP is ultimately going to settle. I thought it would have kind of skyrocketed by now, but it didn't, or it hasn't. Let me double check it, because the last time I checked, it was still in like the 30s, somewhat comfortably. Brees, no, I was dead off. Brees Hall's ADP is 50. Below J.K. Dobbins, below Ezekiel Elliott, below David Montgomery, below Cam Akers. I think he's gonna outperform that rather easily. I think Brees is gonna outperform an ADP of 50 rather easily.
Those top 2 running backs are gonna get work. And for me, the question really starts at are any of the running backs that were drafted that weren't Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker gonna get a significant amount of workload year 1 to where we see value in redraft leagues? I would see Tyler Algier is one, because he's going to get a lot of work.
Algier should pay some nice dividends this year, at least relative to cost.
You can't say that about Zamir White. You can't say that about Isaiah Spiller. You can't say it about James Cook. You can't say that about James Cook. You can maybe say it about Dameon Pierce. Maybe. Because Nick's Marlon Mack is still there, and Rex Burkhead. He's taking all the work. Nick's favorite, Rex Burkhead's still there.
Sexy Rex.
There you go. So, I mean, it's those first 2 running backs, and then probably Algier at 3, because we know he's going to get work. He's going to get that Mike Davis workload. They picked him up, and then they dropped Mike Davis basically the next day.
They did.
So
they said, see you later.
So he's in there. And then really, I wouldn't say, and then I don't know. Keontae Ingram?
Well, we're forgetting about Kenneth Walker.
Oh no, I said the top 2.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. I was looking up ADPs.
At 3, and then Algiers at 3, and then in terms of sure things for next year, for 2022 redraft, Zamir White isn't a sure thing. I mean, is Keontae Ingram a sure thing to get the number 2 running back role in for the Cardinals?
No.
I think right now he kind of is.
Eno.
I like Eno a lot.
Eno.
I don't know if the team is ever going to feel comfortable giving Eno any significant work.
But
we'll see.
This is not it's not the strongest running back class, Xavier. It's hard to feel good about anything other than the top 2. Pierce could do a little something, but I'm afraid that rookie hype might push his ADP a little past my comfort zone with him. Tyrion Davis-Price will factor in a very favorable scheme, but he's going to be the backup to Elijah Mitchell. Now, that said, 100 carries in San Francisco's offense can absolutely be high quality 100 carries. Something to be said for that. But it's going to be very up and down, especially if Trey Lance is in there, wins the job, and is vulturing rushing production, which will eventually happen. But yeah, I mean, Brian Robinson's going to back up Antonio Gibson, we assume. Rashad White's going to back up Leonard Fournette.
A significant amount of workload in year 1. I like Rashad White. There's more than most, but there's no guarantee he's a year 1 commodity.
Right.
You said Tyrion Davis-Price too. He's in there. It's really only the top 2: Algier, Davis-Price, and then
Snoop Connor.
Poop Connor? What?
Snoop Connor. Maybe Snoop Connor.
Possibly.
Maybe Snoop Connor. But here's my only talking point for Snoop Connor.
Keontae Ingram over Snoop Connor.
Where was Keontae drafted? Was it the 5th round? 6th round. 6th round. Snoop was drafted in the 5th. For what it's worth. Keontae's got... There's a bell cow in Arizona. There's not a bell cow in Jacksonville.
There's
That's
an
all.
injury-prone bell cow in Arizona.
I know, but he
There's
was
a
an
back
RB1.
who's been injured every single year, and he's played in the NFL in Arizona.
You don't have to try to sell me on an anti-James Conner rant. We were, I got grilled for being on that very rant last year, but he did still put up an RB1 performance. The RB1 in Jacksonville is gone with a torn Achilles. All right, you want to talk about getting triggered? Yeah, I mean, I'll just say all I'll say, Xavier, is Snoop Connor in Jacksonville, and we almost forgot Abram Smith in New Orleans might maybe has a chance to do a little something if only while Alvin Kamara is out, if and when we expect him to get suspended.
I'm talking about guys that we're putting ahead of Zamir White, Isaiah Spiller, and James Cook for year one work.
Yeah, just this year. Just this year.
You're talking about your favorite UDFAs, like, all right.
We've seen UDFAs come in and do stuff before year one. All I'll say in Jacksonville is it's a wide open opportunity.
We should rename this stream Nick's favorite low-cost running backs.
You just got done talking about how it's kind of a crapshoot outside Hall and Walker. And I agree. Pierce we like. Tyrion Davis-Price we like.
Yeah, but
it's hard to
end it there. I wouldn't start naming other guys just because the
I'm
list
just throwing names out there. Sharing is caring. Just sharing names.
Fair.
That's all. You know.
All right.
We have hit the end of the chat.
I don't know about Mike's hammy staying strong all season. Hey, if it's one more, all he needs is one more season.
Yeah, I'm not worried about. We don't project or worry. We can't operate under the concern of injuries based on history.
And what did Mike Evans do early on in year one with Tom Brady? He was hurt, and they only used him in goal line packages, red zone packages, and he scored something like 5 touchdowns in the first 3 games.
He had a lot of scores.
While they worked on him getting healthy, and then halfway through the season, he was ready to go, and there you go. So yeah, I'm not worried about Mike Evans at all.
Nah, he'll be all right.
And James Cook, I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Bills fan, but James Cook scares me.
Could be a gross backfield that's
scares
difficult
me
to predict.
I've never seen a running back like him drafted so highly.
Yeah.
And it really seems to me they drafted J.D. McKissick. James Cook, it profiles a lot like J.D. McKissick.
The Bills drafted him?
The Bills basically the Seahawks drafted J.D.
The Seahawks
McKissick.
drafted
But that's
him.
what I'm in James Cook. They drafted J.D. McKissick, who they missed out on in free agency, and it felt to me like when they took that pick and I took a look at the two running backs side by side, James Cook has a BMI of in the 8th percentile, which is really bad for a running back. Really bad. He doesn't have the body type to hold up to an NFL workload week to week. He just doesn't, because he's gonna have to be used sparingly, and even when he builds his body up, it's going to be tough to give him a full workload. The workload he's probably going to be looking at is J.D. McKissick's workload. And it took J.D. McKissick 5 years in the NFL to go to the Washington football team, and then he was given a small role that does lead to fantasy production, but a small role in that offense that is never going to expand. And I feel like James Cook is that guy. James Cook, 8th percentile BMI. The only person I could find in the NFL that was a pass-catching back with a BMI at or lower, anywhere close to or lower than James Cook was J.D. McKissick, who had a BMI of 3. Every other pass-catching running back in the NFL, 30th percentile BMI. 40th percentile BMI, 50th percentile BMI. We're talking about 8th percentile and 3 percentile with Cook and McKissick respectively. Cook scares the hell out of me. They're going to use him. He was drafted in the 2nd round. But I really just think he muddies the waters for everybody else there. not super high on James Cook. He's going to get used year one. I just don't know how much of a role they're going to give him and how effective he's going to be straight out the gate. And Iron, once again, Jerome Ford, good pick there. I feel
there you
like
go. Long term, there's some short term potential payoff with long term value there.
Max Fire, what's bracking?
Going on, Max?
In Xavier Dubs terms, what's bracking?
I like that we turned W. It's just Dubs.
Xavier's listening to us. He gets dubs. Let's be real. Is Deshaun Watson worth picking up?
Yeah.
Late in the draft this season.
Yeah. Well, if it's a one quarterback, let's see what the suspension is that he gets hit with. If it's 6 games, you're going to be able to wait a while, and if anybody takes him, in the top 100, they're playing with some fire. But if it's a lighter, shorter suspension than maybe we're anticipating, like, no question. If it's a 6-game suspension and you can get him late, but then also buoy it with a viable QB2 to hold down the fort, sure.
Now Vegas, we were talking about Vegas odds yesterday, with how it pertains to the Browns, and Vegas seems to think that the Browns have a good shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
Vegas doesn't. Yeah. So I mean, I would lead that would lead me to believe that maybe Vegas doesn't see a suspension being handed down to Deshaun Watson this year. They wait to see the legal situation play out, and then as soon as the legal situation plays out, then they hit him with a suspension, and that might not be until 2023. Now, there is a chance he picks up a suspension in 2022, and there's a chance that he doesn't play. But if the NFL doesn't make any ruling on a suspension for him because they're waiting for the legalities to play out, and Deshaun Watson is on the week 1 Ross depth chart, he's gonna play. So there's a chance that there is a good chance that Deshaun Watson plays this year. He will get suspended, but that could happen in 2023. That could very well happen in 2023. That could happen halfway through the season, and then they go with whoever's left on the roster. I guess that's Jacoby Brisket.
Brisket?
Yeah, Jacoby Brisket.
Could just be Baker Mayfield.
They're gonna.
I would laugh my ass off.
Baker Mayfield is gonna be on the team by week 6.
Oh, that would be funny.
It would be hilarious. But yeah, man, if you can pick up Deshaun Watson late in the draft this year, there's a chance he's your QB1 for the majority of the year. There's a chance. It's not a zero-sum chance there. So I would do that. If I'm in a redraft and Deshaun Watson is there, I would do that.
There you go.
Do that. And our leagues don't have an open spot, but we still want to, and we talked about this a little bit off stream before the stream started, leagues with our members.
Mm-hmm.
Still absolutely on the table. We're just waiting to bring more members onto the channel so that we can fill out a 14-team league, and then we can keep it moving, get it rolling. But that's how you become in leagues with us, bro. You got to join as a member.
If you do become a member, you get auto spot in a league commissioned by John and I. We'll set up the format however the members want it to be. It can be a guillotine league. It can be something with special settings. Whatever everybody ultimately wants to do. Yep. That is one of the perks of becoming a member of our channel. We do offer additional perks, not just the league the opportunity to play in a league with us. There are a couple of other opportunities there, or a couple other perks that come with becoming a member. But that is one way to play fantasy with us. We will set up those leagues when we have a member minimum that we want to hit. And we will set up a league and make sure to play with the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Winston DeVarious, thoughts on trading for KJ Hamler? I'm guessing this is a knee-jerk reaction to that Judy news. We were speculating earlier that you should just hold and wait on this Judy news. You shouldn't overreact or just react in really any way unless you have one of KJ Hamler or Tim Patrick that you can put on the block. You should not be trying to acquire any of these other ancillary pieces for the Denver Broncos offense in light of the Jerry Jeudy news, reacting to the Jerry Jeudy news, because there's a very good chance that Jerry Jeudy news ends up being a whole lot of nothing in a month.
I'm fine with trying to acquire KJ Hamler if the price isn't too steep. He's 22. Speedster. He fits the mold of a Tyler Lockett. Not that KJ Hamler automatically becomes Russell Wilson's new Tyler Lockett, but he fits the mold of that type of receiver.
Wait until the Jeudy news evens itself out and you can get him at more of a discount than you can right now, I bet you.
Yeah. I would just ask, what is the price right now, Winston? Like, have you engaged in the conversation? And if yes, what is the KJ Hamler owner asking for right now? I'm totally. We like Tim Patrick. We like Tim Patrick a lot. Tim Patrick's 28. KJ Hamler's 22.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to going and getting KJ Hamler. I'm opposed to reacting to Jeudy news now. Wait until the Jeudy news runs its course, and then pick up KJ Hamler. Because you can probably get him for cheaper than you can right now. Because I bet you that KJ Hamler owner is looking at that Jeudy news and hoping that Jeudy doesn't play this year, but or has a suspension or something like that. But as soon as it comes out that Judy's fine, you can probably get KJ Hamler for less than you would pay right now.
Yeah.
So I like Hamler. Like Nick said, 22 years old, young, could be the new Tyler Lockett for this team because they don't have a speedster on the outside.
No, they do not. So, I mean, Jeudy can run, but Hamler,
yeah.
that's like a Hamler's that's his specialty.
But I would be wary of. I know the price on him is never going to be astronomical, but you never want to buy high. Or at least you
if the asking price is like I need a second round pick for him, then it's like no. See you later.
But yeah, there you go. What do you guys think of Josh Allen or Fields Najee and a 23 first 12-team Superflex dynasty?
Allen.
I mean, that's close to value.
But Allen. It's not close for me, personally. In Superflex, to get Josh Allen for a quarterback who you would hope is 70% of Josh Allen at his best. We like Najee. He's an RB1 and he's a top 5 dynasty. Well, he's a top 15 dynasty prospect in Superflex. Allen is the number 1 dynasty asset in Superflex.
Point position blank. That will not appreciate or depreciate anytime.
No, Allen's got 10 years in him easy. Hopefully more.
The reason I said it was close was because I bought Allen for 3 firsts and an ancillary piece earlier in the offseason in a 12-team Superflex Dynasty League. Fields is going to cost you more than a first in a vacuum. Yeah. Najee's going to cost you more than a first in a vacuum, and you're getting the 2023 first on top of it. So I'm looking at that and thinking, that's more than what I gave up for Allen. So that's closer in value than you might think just looking at that. But I'd still want Allen. There's no guarantee Fields is going to turn into anything special. Najee, we like him, but he's 24 years old, and running backs depreciate faster than any other asset in Dynasty Fantasy Football. And we like that 23 first, but I'd rather have Allen.
Give me Allen. Give me the literal number 1 option in Superflex.
Who's 26 Dynasty right now and should have another 10 years before you're even thinking of, does this guy have much left in the tank? And 10 years down
Allen.
The road, I mean, Fields could be out of the league. Najee will be out of the league unless
Najee
he's Frank
will
Gore,
be out of the league in 10 years.
And that 23 first is probably coming close to being out of the league.
or we'll see what that becomes. But yeah,
if it's anything other than a quarterback, then I mean, 10 years down the road, you're looking at a wide receiver becoming 30-31, or a running back becoming 30-31.
Could be a nice receiver. Could be.
Rather have Allen.
Yeah.
And Xavier, you and Slim are down. Slim's already a member, so if you want to be in a league with us, you got to become a member.
He's asking how. It is the first link in the description.
Yep. And we would love to have you. You also you get a couple of perks along with that. Along with being in a league with us, you get one-on-one team of evals with Nick and I off stream. We'll call you up on a Zoom call and we'll talk about your teams for 15, 20, 30 minutes. You get to be in leagues with
additional
us. We
content.
Also get members-only content. Members-only streams every week. We stream on Wednesdays, same time, 6 p.m. EST for y'all members every week. And I mean, we will, as more things become available to us to be able to do with you, with the members, we're going to keep adding to that as well. But yeah, check it out. It is the top link in our description if you are interested. Different tiers, sure. So you don't have to go all out and do that Hall of Fame tier. You can do that starter tier, and we would love to have you. So check it out.
Sir.
But thanks again, Xavier. Thanks for chilling with us. It's been nice having you in here. Johnny Jones, Josh Allen owners rise up. You already know, man.
He's got one more question for us. The top 5 defenses this year.
I saw that defenses. I just saw the Josh Allen. I had to.
You had to do your Josh Allen thing. I can take the top 5 defenses right now. Today, Xavier, it's in May. Looking at defenses, I just go off of one thing right now, and that's predicted win totals or projected win totals. Here's the bottom line. Defenses are for the most part a crapshoot year over year. There are a couple of defenses that you can kind of pinpoint and say these guys are probably going to be good. At the end of the day, I want a defense on a good team where I expect that team to be winning their games. Because when a team is leading in their game, they're playing with a lead. That means the defense can play aggressive, and the opposing offense is more prone and more likely to make mistakes. Because when you are trailing, you become a little bit more desperate as the game goes on. Give me good defenses for good teams with high expected win totals, maybe attached to a good quarterback on the other side. They're playing with comfortable leads. They're forcing the opposing offense into sacks and turnovers. So, right now, Vegas has the Bucs and the Bills with the highest projected win total betting odds at 11.5 wins each. The Bucs and the Bills are expected to basically win, according to Vegas, 11 or 12 games this year. Give me those two defenses. Layup. Attached to Tom Brady, attached to Josh Allen. Both of those teams have Super Bowl aspirations. Both of those teams have elite players on their defenses. They will create opportunity. Packers also have 11.5 win total. I would put them in that list as well. Because if the Packers are playing with a lead with Aaron Rodgers, give me that team to get sacks and turnovers, especially anytime they're playing in Lambeau. Those are the 3 teams with 11.5 win totals. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Green Bay. Give me those defenses. Then there's there's like 4 or 5 teams with 10.5 win totals. Dallas, Denver, both LA teams, the Chargers and the Rams, and the Chiefs. The Cowboys, I would say, are a run below just because they so overperformed last year after an historically bad 2020. So I would say, like, let's see how things go. Trayvon Diggs isn't going to have 11 interceptions again. The Denver Broncos, we expect them to be a good defense. They play in an incredibly difficult division. So I don't know that I would necessarily put them over the Rams, and I would still have to give the respect to the Chiefs just because they've been there 3 years in a row. They've done it 3 years in a row where they've gotten to at least the AFC Championship game. Actually, they've done it 4 years in a row where they've gotten to at least the AFC Championship game. I'll throw the Rams in there as the defending Super Bowl champions. Yes, they lost Von Miller. They'll still have Aaron Donald. They'll still have Jalen Ramsey. That team still, I think it's fair to say today, right now, barring injury, we expect the Rams to have more than 10 wins at the end of the season. Give me the Rams in that conversation, and I'll throw the Chiefs in that conversation slightly over the Chargers, just out of respect for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's damn close. The Chargers added J.C. Jackson. They added Khalil Mack. They already have Joey Bosa. I believe they're getting Derwin James back from injury. If he's able to stay healthy, that defense will be lethal. If the Chargers are a dark horse they're a not so dark horse for me.
I am wary of taking any defenses in the AFC West this year because you're going to have 6 games against very
shootouts.
Good opponents. So, yes, the Chiefs and the Chargers might have good win totals, but you're still going to be dealing with 6 games against very good opponents where it should be shootouts, and that defense might not look so good in the box score. Against the other teams in other divisions, yeah, they will match up very well weekly. But I am wary of AFC defenses.
That's fair.
This year.
That's fair. Those defenses or those games will be, could be high scoring. You're going to be playing good quarterbacks, good offenses. But I feel comfortable saying today in May, right now, give me the Bucks, give me the Bills, give me the Packers, give me the Rams. If you're worried about the AFC West teams, then by default, the next team with the highest win total, according to Vegas, would be Dallas. And their division is not that scary.
And one team that always seems to overperform defensively, that might not have the win totals in their favor. The Patriots have been a very good defense.
Yeah, New England usually does.
Every year.
Yeah.
And I know they play in a competitive division now. It's more competitive. And the Patriots, top to bottom, might be the worst team when you look at the whole team. But that defense, did it lose many players? I do not believe so.
Well, they lost J.C. Jackson, I guess.
Okay. All right.
They lost J.C. Jackson. He's really good.
Yeah,
but I think that's it. And you do have to give Belichick his flowers.
Did Van Noy go back home last year and then now he's elsewhere?
Yeah. Did he go back to or did he retire? Or did they cut him?
I think he went to another team.
Gotta look this up.
He went to another team. But just the Patriots.
He went to the Chargers.
There you go.
So the Chargers really loaded up.
Wait on defense in your redraft leagues or whatever, check out the Patriots. That's what I did last year. It served me very well. So keep that in mind. But I think that's good there. And we are ramping down this stream, but we do want to get to these last questions here. What's going on, Kurt?
What's up, Kurt?
Let's see here.
And Max, appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully that helps.
Thoughts on John Mechie? Have PPR.
I'm intrigued by John Mechie. Coming off the injury, so he slid a little bit in the draft, but the landing spot's good. I mean, I think it's solid. Davis Mills led the NFL in a couple of deep ball passing statistics last year,
which is
somewhat
not where John Mechie is going to be operating.
I'm just saying.
So.
Which I'm just saying, I think Davis Mills is a little bit better of a quarterback than the consensus gives him credit for.
Maybe. TBD. John Mechie. He has draft capital.
Tyrion Davis Price. Yeah, he's got the draft capital on his side.
He's got the draft capital on his side. Higher draft capital than Nico Collins.
Yep.
Brandon Cooks ain't going anywhere, and
Brandon Cooks is the one.
Shouldn't be going anywhere either. His role is defined. He's never going to go on the outside. John Mechie is never going to go work on the outside. He's going to be a slot receiver. So he's going to be sharing the field in the area of the field with Brevin Jordan and probably one of these running backs. I don't know how high I am on him in year one. He's not like a redraft target for me per se. I'll keep an eye on him, See how he does. But historically, not a type of guy that I am drafting. And grain of salt here, because all situations every year are different. But historically, the slot receiver for the Texans has not been a very useful receiver to own. You got Kiki QT
and never met expectations.
Right. So you have to worry. I am a little worried. I am a little worried about a slot receiver with such a defined role in an offense that isn't expected to be high flying. But I'm intrigued enough to keep an eye open on him. But he's not somebody I'm drafting in redraft.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's got an ADP of about 180, so I mean, you can absolutely get him. You know, you don't have to reach to get him if you really want him. Like I mentioned, Davis Mills did some nice things last year, had some deep ball statistics that were tops in the league. But nobody's pegging this offense as high octane. At least not today.
No, actually today you are Mr. Rex Burkhead, Marlon Mack.
Yeah, that backfield's going to run circles around everybody. Mechie's an intriguing long-term prospect. When did he suffer the injury? He suffered the ACL. Well, wasn't it the SEC championship game?
I believe so.
I think it was the SEC championship game. So he's going to be spending a good amount of his offseason rehabbing, not doing football activities. When you're a rookie, not doing football activities, you're automatically behind the 8 ball. Learning the playbook, developing chemistry with your teammates, doing literal football activities. He's going to miss out on all of that in the offseason, in training camp. A la like a Rashad Bateman last year, where now Rashad Bateman, I know we're comparing apples to oranges as far as a prospect and draft capital and all that good stuff, but just from a perspective of a player who spent his offseason rehabbing from an injury, we didn't see Bateman really start to do anything at all until well into the season. I feel like we're going to be looking at a similar situation with Mechie coming off a torn ACL. Now, if his rehab process is going well, it's going strong, and he's ready for training camp, because we have the same optimism for Jameson Williams. Therefore, it's only fair to have, similar optimism for John Mechie. Not that, all we have to, we can't just say ACL injury and, paint it with a broad brush. There's multiple layers to ACL injuries. ACL injuries are different from player to player, person to person, body to body. People heal differently, faster rates or slower rates, all that good stuff. It's the same injury, but it's not. You know what I mean? So who knows? Mechie's going to be spending a lot of time this offseason rehabbing. I wouldn't expect the world or, even, modest expectations, like a wide receiver 4 type of finish. I think that's best case scenario for him this year.
He was not somebody that we were ranking very highly pre-NFL draft. And then he was, again, like, it was, the ADPs were adjusted when he got taken in the second round. And then he got pushed up, just like Alec Pierce got pushed up, just like Velus Jones got pushed up, just like, to a certain extent, Tyquan Thornton got pushed up, David Bell got pushed up. These were all guys in a tier below that got pushed up rankings because of their draft capital in the NFL. But that does not, like, I tend to fight back against that. Maybe it's because I'm too stuck in my pre-draft rankings to really invest in an Alec Pierce because he was drafted in the second round. Invest in a John Mechie because he was drafted in the second round. Invest in a Tyquan Thornton and a Velus Jones and a David Bell, the second and third round draft capital. Because I am tied to where I viewed them pre-draft in ranking their talent level. And John Mechie falls into that for me, where I am hesitant to put him up. He was not on my board anywhere in the second round in rookie drafts for me. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask for a hype piece on John Mechie right now. That's kind of where I'm at. And I agree with a lot of what Nick said regarding his injury status, regarding working his way back into health in season, and the road that he has to get fully healthy from now until week 1 or week 6 or however that goes. Agree with that. That, when combined with the fact that I wasn't sold on the talent coming in, and I think he was overdrafted in the NFL, means he's pretty much off. He was off my boards in rookie drafts. Not going to be somebody I look for in redraft. But Kurt, I'm sorry you joined in to the stream about, 2 hours in?
Yeah, about maybe a little more.
A little more. My clock reset because
your computer shut down.
Yes. So
yeah, we are coming up on the end of this thing.
Yeah, we didn't touch on the topic in the thumbnail or the title.
That's okay.
We might have to, but we are just happy to have a conversation with y'all regardless.
We'll rework the details of that to make it a little bit more where it's like these guys didn't talk about this at all, but that's okay.
And they're gonna get no answers of what they were looking for. So we're gonna have to switch that around. But hey, thanks all for listening. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for tuning in with us. It was fun to stream with y'all today.
Yep. As always, you can join the Discord if you want to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
If you have any other questions that come up or that you think of after the stream, join the Discord. It is in the link. It is in the description of this video and all of our videos on our channel. You don't have to become a member to join. You do get one of our other perks of becoming a member is there are member exclusive channels in the Discord. You get a little bit quicker access to us as we do prioritize those among other perks of becoming a member. If you are interested, that link is also in the description of this video and all of our videos. But yeah, as always, appreciate you guys. Always happy to talk shop and answer questions, debate different topics. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. So y'all have a great rest of your Thursday. If you get thirsty, thirsty Thurs. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. We hope y'all have a good weekend, and we will see you here next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. EST, regular time, and maybe we will actually stick to the topic on the on the title, but
we'll see.
No promises. We'll see. Miami 65, Philly.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath. It's not looking good.
I can't wait until they lose. I can't wait. But
shut up.
We will see y'all next week. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.